pause the. Ah, shoot. Alrighty, it is the Monday show on Thursday. Wait, damn it. I forgot my intro. Live from New York, it's the Monday show on Thursday. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I got a little distracted because I had a little video playing over here. I got this little black spot on my desk. Is it the tape? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that'll do it. I don't know. I got some paint over here. I think that's what we're looking at here. You're seeing a little bit of paint because I picked up these markers here that have glass beads or glass balls inside of them. I put some enamel paint and some airbrush paint thinner inside. And then I actually mixed mineral spirits. Wait, did I mix mineral? I don't know. I put a concoction in here. But the theory is that if you put this in an airbrush unit like this, it takes markers, you can spray. I'm going to play with this in a little while. We're going to explore. But first, let's make sure we're live on the two platforms which we presently stream to. And we do have Real Wade Nation Gaming Recap here. Your name has Re in it. Are you reeing at us? Re. Okay, I'm just messing around. How you doing? How you doing, Wade? I'm just trolling, man. Let's get the Rumble chat up. We might do some space stuff, but I got a book today. I got a book for us to read. So we'll let people arrive in the chat, and I'll kind of just set up some things here. Make sure that everything is nicely, neatly. What is there a battery under my thing again? There we go. I just had to move my keyboard forward. There was a AA battery or something in the way. All right. It says Gaming Recap in the name, but I'd imagine if I click on your name, it'll say Gaming Clips. It's usually how it goes, right? This YouTube naming convention thing is a little confusing these days. People used to be able to just put like a custom name there. Then I got people, they get upset that their first and last name comes up, but you could change that. I don't know how, but I mean, I never needed to change it because I'm DJ Ronnie G. I literally went out of my way to not link this to my real name account some years ago. But other than that, like, you know, it's like, yeah, sometimes you see people pop into the chat with their name and they're just using their regular Google account. And that kind of happened, you know, when Google bought out YouTube. But anyway, we're going to see if we can, all right, good. All right, this is working. All right, good. Exposure is a little sketchy, but we'll fix the lighting on this. In fact, I think once we get to the paper portion of the book, we'll be fine. It's just a matter of me getting this. There we go. Now we got the edge of my desk over here. Just got to adjust the exposure. You know, basically the lighting and all that jazz. So like a little properties window that says configure video, and then I lost the window. Here it is. This is actually, I gotta send this to, okay, we're recording already. So Jed Revenwolf, friend from Snowdub's channel. This this is not really very helpful, is it? I'll have to take a new screenshot. I told him I'd take a screenshot of how I do this, but this is the settings menu that you need, and this applies to anybody who's interested. This is the settings menu that you call up if you have a webcam that isn't cooperating with the whole green screen thing. So over here, we can't see it now because I don't have my desk facing camera. But normally if I was in the other source, there would be a camera here. Oh, here it is. And if I go to configure video, we get this window. So it says configure video. I already have all these other settings. It's actually like I customized it, but usually the default settings are fine. I wanted to make sure that I did not ship it yet, but I should totally do that. You know, I have it set to 1080p. You can't read this, can you? I'm like showing a window right now. I'm sure you guys can't read this window at all. Hey, let me go to my top screen. Wait. Oh, what? Oh, oops, wrong screen. Wait, we'll go bottom. Oh, no, wait, you can read that, right? Wait, I'm so confused. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, now you guys can read this, yeah. So, anyway, bottom line is, yeah, so I wanted to make sure I get 1080p at 60 frames a second, But if I was not streaming at 60 frames a second, I could save resources, alleviate strain on the computer by allowing it to run at a lower frame rate or resolution, right? If you're streaming at 720p, then why stream at, why have your webcam run at 1080p? Oh, crap. I did not read your Twitter DM. I said I would do that last week. Shit. Hey, Google. Remind me at 2:45 a.m. to read Real Wade Gaming Nation. Remind me at 2:30 a.m. Some shit. What was I gonna say? Remind me at 2:30 a.m. to go to Wade's Twitter DM. Okay, got it. Okay, good. Okay, so bottom line is you don't need to worry about this. If you have a problem with your chroma key, you go to configure video and you get a little window over here, this little properties window. Now, fun fact, if you don't close this window and you exit OBS, OBS will refuse to close. It'll act like it's not responding until you hit OK or cancel or X. But bottom line is this here, what I did was when I used to use this camera for green screen, the camera that's pointing down at my desk right now, I would actually go to over here where it says white balance. And changing the white balance was a game changer. Like, so this is what makes like, oops, is that the wrong button? Yeah, that. See how everything's changing color? That's the white balance. So one of the ways that people deal with white balance is they'll get something that's a piece of paper like this white book or these pages from the book that I can't see right now because I'm looking at it from an awkward angle. But sometimes you'll adjust your lighting and your exposure. In fact, like right now, that's one of the things we got to do because it's too bright. So I'm going to go into manual exposure mode. And you can see lowering this actually makes the shutter speed faster. So sometimes if it's dark in the room, it'll crank it up a lot. But then you'll see the frame rate starts to get a little bit like eh. And then if I do the opposite, you'll see now my hand is moving super smooth, but it's not very bright, is it? But we're going to strike a balance here. So my lights are real bright, so we're going to stop it down a lot. This is just like operating an old school camera. Now, we could probably keep it bright. I think we should keep it bright. And maybe I should put something under the book to kind of like angle it up. What's up, Lady Mist? I should probably put something under the book to kind of prop it up at an angle a little bit, Here, we'll use this metal dish here. This should do fine here. But yeah, changing the white balance, game changer. Like, it really does make a difference. I'm not even kidding. Like, it does. I kid you not. But let's get rid of this window here. Actually, no, I did it. Okay, so I can get rid of this window, but I'm actually going to keep this window open. And I'm going to move it to my top right corner. I'm going to move it somewhere where I can see it on my upper screen. Then if I go here, there we go. So we can now see this in full screen. But it's good to see you, Lady Miss. Good to see you, Real Wade. I have a 4 a.m. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you do tune in. I think you're going to enjoy this book, Lady Mist, if you get a chance to, squeeze it in a lunch break. It's basically, oh, that's overexposed. Let's underexpose it now. And if you guys pay extra, I can expose myself. Okay, that's terrible. I'm sorry. I know you guys don't want to see that. Or do you? Should I make a website for fans and only fans? Oh, I just said the word. Is that going to get me filtered? But jokes aside, I will start a Patreon. I'll make sure it's only for fans of my channel. Okay, for you guys. And then we'll get some skin pics out. Okay, I'm kidding. But seriously though, look at this. This is basically, long story short, Lady Miss. This is drawn by Kurabayashi because his son was 3 years old when he visited America in 1928 to 1930. Anyway, have a good night. Sleep well, Lady Miss. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Since Lady Miss left, the show's over. We're ending it now. Everyone have a good night. Nah, okay. I wish I had an outro to play. If I had an outro to play, it'd be like Loki's show where you play an outro and then, people think it's actually over when it's not. Of course I'll check XDM. I'm not sending shit to you without checking XDM to make sure I got all the arrangements right. I got you, bud. Don't worry, I'm not going to make a mistake like send it somewhere else and then find out you told me to send it to the correct place and I send it to the wrong place, don't worry, I got you covered. You know, do it right. I got you. I got you, son. Got you, my bro. Yeah, so, oh, I didn't turn on Reggie's voice. Let's get Reggie's voice turned on. It's going to be a little bit of an affair here. So, we got to log into Reggie to do this. So, we're going to go to my top monitor. We're going to open up. Ah, crap, I opened the wrong one. Let's try that again. We're going to log into Reggie. Oh, yeah, I was generating AI-generated prunes. I mean, I totally wasn't generating AI-generated prunes. Anyway. There we go. We're going to start AllTalk TTS on the server. And this will enable us to have Reggie talk to us. But we got to wait for this to load. Don't worry, we're not actually going to watch this whole thing. Okay, let's get back to the downward-facing camera. Oh, see, look, it's got the cool. I love ASCII art. Anyway, let's get back to the camera. All right, so let me just open the book. So anyway, the book is titled Pictures from Iwo Jima. Actually, is it Pictures from Iwo Jima? No, it's just picture letters from the Commander-in-Chief. Because he was the commander of the Iwo Jima garrison during World War II. I'm just getting this thing adjusted here. Okay, there we go. We got to get this boom arm. We got to get everything right, get the angle right. I think we got it more or less as right as it's going to be. I'll be honest, this camera, sometimes it doesn't look as crisp as I think it should. And then sometimes it's because you have something at the edge of the field. It is the Monday show, but it's Thursday, says Game Gear Goddess. But we got a curveball. I updated the thumbnail. It says Monday show on Thursday on Friday because, you know, here in New York at least, it is already Friday. All right, so I'll probably have to move this to the side. I can see it's blocking out part of it. But let's just go right into it. So real quick, actually, before we do go into it, who is this about? It's about a man named Tadamichi Kiribayashi. He is the commanding officer, the man in charge of the Iwo Jima garrison. That is from the famous World War II battle of Iwo Jima. And we got a video compilation here. So we're going to load up that video compilation. And we're going to watch some interesting stuff tonight. But we're going to watch this first. Okay, so does this have sound? And why is my face not on camera? This is not playing to my vanity. I'm a star, and I refuse to not be on camera. I'm kidding. I heard a guy, was it Markiplier who made a movie? I heard one of these streamer guys made a movie. And by the way, I got a haircut scheduled for Saturday, so I wanted to make sure my hair was nice and fluffy. I want you guys to be able to admire my lush, full head of hair before I get it trimmed down to a sane shape and size. Look at that shit. I look like Thomas Sowell in the 1980s, like. Because that's like, he had this type of fro, except mine ain't like an African fro, it's like an Italian fro. You know, African fro's have more tighter curls in them. They almost have that, like, I've never touched the hair, but like, I'd imagine it's like, just feels more dense. Like, you can like it's got volume, but also density to it, whereas this has like volume, but it's really just all air on the inside of that, you know, like styrofoam or something like that. Which makes it good for insulating my hair during the winter. So that's weird. Why did my movie not? Oh, I see what happened. I exported a QuickTime movie. Because the movie, this pisses me off, yo. When you get a widescreen movie, but it's not widescreen. Because when you put it in a widescreen monitor, like the one on my left, and you go full screen, you press full, you get quad letterbox, which is like totally whack. But me, because of my painstaking efforts to make shit perfect, I make sure it fills up the whole screen. Oh, I was watching a video from All Asian Dilemmas. It's an interesting channel. I learned a lot of weird things. I learned that they have this thing called a bride price, and then I saw these videos where people were at a wedding, and then the family was like, "You got to give us 20 grand more because my friend's cousin got 100 grand for the bride price, and you gave us 80 grand, and we'll lose face if you don't give us more money." It's like, damn, that sucks. But anyway, I'm gonna output this to my headphones. So this is an actor. This is Ken Watanabe. He played Tadamichi Kurabayashi in the movie by Clint Eastwood, Letters from Iwo Jima. He's flying in a Betty bomber, although actually he's not because, or is it a transport? I think it's a Betty. I don't know. I always mix up the planes. I think they were kind of multi-purpose. I don't hear any sound. Did I not export sound? There's a distinct possibility I did not export the sound with this one here. Let's see. Let's see what it says here. Yeah, there's a soundtrack. Oh, I muted the soundtrack. I did do that. That sucks. Did I mute the soundtrack? I don't remember doing that. This is highly un-American. Oh, I hear sound. I hear sound. It's just low. We'll probably get content matched. Here, I'll put on the sound for you guys. Why is the left audio channel louder than the right audio channel? Maybe it's the airplane? Yeah, I'm looking at the VU meter right. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it sounds normal. So, he arrives at the island of Iwo Jima a year before the big battle in his, well-decorated uniform. And the first thing he does, aside from saluting the guys, he walks around the island. Like, he literally, takes a walk around the whole fucking island because he wants to see everything. He wants to plan the shit out properly. And then he sees one of these guys here beating the shit out of these guys for saying unpatriotic shit. And he's like, dude, what the fuck you doing? And then basically he's like, dude, just tell him, just deny their meal rations for today. He's like, obviously a soldier that you beat the crap out of isn't going to be very effective at their job. And then he's walking around, they had some civilians, and he sees a kid playing with a tank, and he thinks about his son Taro. And he thinks about the Battle of Saipan and how, that was just a disaster. So he's like, dude, evacuate the fucking civilians. But before he says that line, he thinks back to his time. This is where the picture book comes in. In fact, see this picture right here? He's drawing pictures of automobiles. And that's in the book right here. So let's start there. Why don't we? So let's go from the top. It would be wrong to dismiss this just as another war story. Shigetoki Hosoki, military historian. Here is my elderly landlady, pictured by Kurabayashi, and some neighbors bidding goodbye. They say they will miss me. We have become good friends. Tadamichi Kurabayashi, November 1928. Damn it, I got paint on here. How did I get paint on here? It's not a lot of paint, but still. I mean, I know how I got paint on here. So, so this paint marker here, I put some enamel paint and airbrush paint thinner in here for my airbrush gun. And I had to modify it because the tip wasn't really being compressed enough to be able to let the paint out of the airbrush gun. So after a certain point, I almost got it working. Then the air pressure built up in here. So when I went to press down on the paint marker, it's spring loaded, it shot paint everywhere. Like it exploded paint. I didn't get a lot on me, but it was pretty freaking wild. In the end, I did modify the airbrush gun to work better, and I'll show you guys that later. Also, I believe if I can find the box that the airbrush gun came in, there are 2 more nozzles that might work better. Did you look up the story about the sniper guy who took out a German general with a civilian rifle? I did not, but that sounds interesting. Did you read the story about the American sniper who might have actually been an asshole? No, deadass. You know the movie American Sniper? Apparently that guy might have been a dick. I'm not sure, though. I got to research him a little bit more. If nothing else, though, he definitely was depressed and offed himself after the war, either because he was guilty or because, he wasn't guilty and he actually had a conscience and people were slandering him. I'm not sure which, but anyway, that's a whole other topic. I'm not well researched on it at this time. But let's see here. Sniper guy who took out German general with civilian rifle. His Bronze Star. Let's see here. The story of a sniper killing a German general with a civilian rifle likely refers to an account of a Soviet sniper, Vasily Zaitsev during the Battle of Stalingrad. Ooh, Stalingrad, that was a fucking extravaganza if I've ever seen one. While the exact details are a topic of historical debate, his legend includes the killing of a high-ranking German sniper school director. Zaitsev was a decorated Soviet sniper and hero, blah, blah, blah. The rifle, the primary weapon, was a standard issue Soviet Mosin Nagant rifle, not a specific civilian model, although this is an AI Google answer, so I'm just reading what it says. Although he was a hunter from the Ural Mountains, and an expert marksman. You know, I find that offensive. He's a marks person, guys. Come on. Get with the times. I'm just trolling. Okay, so the German general officer Zaitsev's memoirs mention a 3-day duel with a high-ranking German sniper. Oh, shit, it was a high-ranking German sniper. Described as the head of the German sniper school. I want to go to German sniper school now. Sometimes identified as Major Erwin Koning. Ooh, just like the guy from Space 1999. And SS. Ooh, I love these names. It's a rank. SS Stoddard. Wait, let me enunciate this real quick. Staatsdatenführer. Got it. Staatsdatenführer. Oh, I can say that. Major Erwin Koning or SS Staatsdaten. Or it was SS Staatsdatenführer Heinz Thorwald. Ooh, Staatsdatenführer. It's like you can't say that word without having a German accent. I mean, like, you know, like it just like somehow comes out, man. Does that make me the villain? No, okay, jokes aside. He ultimately killed this German officer whose telescopic sight became a trophy in a Moscow museum. Oh, man, yeah. Soviets know how to do it up, yo. Like when it comes to like, you know, putting things in museums. Like the U-2 spy plane with Francis Gary Powers, right? Yeah, they got that in a museum too. All right. A sample of this picture, Letters to Tavo, appears on page 28 to 29. One of the 47 pictures, only 2 were done in color. The others seem to have been done in black and white ink. Colors were used in this letter from Buffalo, New York. He spent some time in this city, purposely isolating himself from the countrymen in order to perfect his English. Purposely isolating himself from his countrymen, I see. So he didn't want to be hanging out with a bunch of Japanese guys and then not learning English, right? He really wanted to perfect his English, which it shows he's like a pretty smart dude. That he took the time to learn English. Where's that metal bowl? Oh, here it is. We need that metal bowl. We need to stand this up. Let's take these paint bottles and put them like this, maybe. Staatsdatenführer. Why do they call him the Führer? Is it like the Führer? Yes. So basically, you got this guy. He's an old man washing the ground. Don't worry, they translate these. Another drawing of a boulevard in Buffalo using color. Ooh, look at that! Got some green. Game Gear goddess might appreciate this because you know, an artiste has to appreciate art. I could hold this up closer if you want. Frankly, I want to adjust the exposure now because I feel like it's just not looking as good as it should. But I'm afraid to crank up the exposure on the camera anymore. See, look what happens when I crank up the exposure on the camera. We're going to do this instead. We're going to play with the contrast. Yeah, it's not really working out, is it? How about gamma? Gamma. Oh, shoot. Let's put the white balance on automatic. Maybe that's the problem. The white balance is on automatic. Let's go manual. I'm gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna make it look like whatever it looks like to my eyes. This is approximately what it looks like to my human eyes. I'd say the green is about right. I feel like the green could be a little better. Maybe we could saturate it a little bit. We'll purposely saturate it. We're gonna oversaturate it a little bit. That should be about right. Now it looks about right. Did you? Oh, yeah, you said that. What? Do I have to translate that? I got to translate that now. I can't read that. You know I can't read that, Game Gear Goddess. Hey, what's up? What's up there? DJ Play Nice, good to see you, man. Crap. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Translate.google. Oh, shoot, the font is huge on here. Control 0. I believe that's Japanese. What? Here, let me play that back in.
Ka.
Damn it, I can't hear it.
Ka.
Oh, there we go.
Ka.
Nah.
Ka.
Why does it say nani here, but the word is
Ka.
ha?
Ka.
Can you
Ka.
guys hear that?
Ka. Ka.
Oh, maybe you were laughing?
Ka.
Maybe that's a ha, as in ha ha.
What? Ka.
I am not going to get into the linguistics of that right now. All right. Let's roll. So, yeah, let's see if we can find that picture he drew of the car, huh? But, yeah, so anyway, real quick, we'll just do a power whoop. Son of my paint bottles fell. Trying to use these to hold up the book here so we keep it at a healthy angle. That's his daughter. That's his son, Taro. And this is a letter that he wrote from Iwo Jima, was on a headed newspaper and filled both sides. He was a keen educator and even corrected errors in Takako's letters. Expressions reflect wartime sentiment. So right here you can see this is the car he bought. He bought a Chevy K model. He enjoyed touring the countryside and discovering America firsthand. And you can see he's wearing his Imperial Japanese uniform from 1928 to 1930. This is him with a Canadian delegation, the Japanese legation in Canada. I don't know if that's a typo. Legation, delegation. Maybe a legation is different than a delegation. 1931 at the Japanese legation in Canada, where he was appointed first military attaché. Kiribayashi is shown in the back row, second from the right. There he is. Then, this is him commanding troops at Iwo Jima, holding his bamboo walking stick. This is Lieutenant General Kiribayashi. He was promoted to full general after his honorable death on Iwo Jima. And this is the guy from the movie. I actually recognize. Oh, that's him. Oh, that's literally him. I'm sorry. I thought this was him. Wait. Kiribayashi's wise leadership won the praise of even his enemies during the struggle between American and Japanese troops. It's true. Mad Dog Holland Smith said that he was the most redoubtable of all the adversaries he faced. And then these are Army guys. The U.S. Marine Corps provided this picture of Army guys. Yeah, it says Army right here. They laid siege to Mount Suribachi, where a Japanese battery was ensconced. There were a lot of Japanese batteries ensconced there. And these are dead Japanese soldiers, although I couldn't really tell if they were Japanese or American, but about 20,000 Japanese soldiers died on that island. The operation, projected to take 5 days, lasted 35 days. So, as far as tacticians go, Kiribayashi managed to make that battle last 35 days. Or 25 days? I already mixed up numbers. Yeah. 35 days, he made the battle take us 7 times longer. It took us 7 times longer to properly secure the island. I'm not even sure if we had the island secure. See, I know in the book, there's the point in time they said the island was secured, and the point in time in which the island was actually secured. These are 2 different times and dates. We need to get my, where's my camera? I want my camera on. There we go. That's Clint Eastwood. Look, he's wearing one of the hats. He's wearing the hat. I love it. I love it. I love seeing Clint Eastwood wearing the hat. I really do. I think it's super cool. Yeah, I'm still tweaking the light. Oh, that's much better. I think the color's a little off. I'm trying to get that to be perfected, but I think we'll just leave it be. Clint Eastwood's foreword about Kiribayashi. An interest in the Battle of Iwo Jima and the many lives lost there led me to discover the fascinating story of General Tadamichi Kiribayashi, and thanks to his movie, Clint Eastwood's movie, I learned about this guy too. His letters to his wife and children reveal a man of profound sincerity and kindness, through gentle reminders to his son to care for his mother and a heartfelt farewell to his wife. Yeah, dead ass. That really, yeah, I read that letter. The letters complete the picture of a legendary military strategist. Basically, he tells his wife, "Get out of Tokyo because when we lose the island, the bombing raids are going to intensify." It was these letters that compelled me to think about the lives of all of the Japanese soldiers who bravely fought and died on that island. I was proud to have the opportunity to bring their story to the screen for today's generation. Letters from Iwo Jima is my tribute to the forgotten men of that battle and the countless others of World War II. Sincerely, Clint Eastwood. And this is interpreter Yuki Ishimaru, director Clint Eastwood, and Ken Watanabe, who played Kiribayashi, on the set of the Warner Bros. What up, bro? Pictures and DreamWorks Pictures World War II drama. Letters from Iwo Jima, directed by Clint Eastwood, which obviously is abundantly clear. And then, is this the editor? Basically, this is key information here. This book is a compilation of the illustrated letters from Tadamichi Kiribayashi. The letters were sent to his eldest son, Taro, from America between 1928 and 1931. 47 illustrations, 42 sheets, 5 of which were illustrated on both sides, were saved and included in this book. Also included in this book are letters sent from Kiribayashi between 1944 and 45 from Iwo Jima. 7 are addressed to his daughter Takako, and 2 addressed to his wife Yoshi and the children. The envelopes for these letters no longer exist. There are also missives that do not state the date or location from which they were written. It is presumed that many of the letters may have been mailed in a bundle. The illustrations in this book are arranged in chronological order, and in many cases, the editor inferred the date of illustration from the location and scenario depicted. The letters from Iwo Jima are all dated and arranged in chronological order, so that's key right there. So this is a key thing, and then I'm going to jump back to the chat. To Taro, from March 1928 to 1930, April 30. Studying military affairs in America, Army Cavalry Captain Tadamichi Kiribayashi, 38 years old, wrote to his eldest son Taro, 3 years old. Because Taro was too young to read kanji characters, the father illustrated the letters and asked his wife Yoshi to read them to their son. So yeah, you Googled it too, right, DJ? Play nice. Google says legation is a permanent diplomatic mission, lower in rank than an embassy sent by one government to another. And headed by a minister or envoy rather than an ambassador. Primarily used before World War II, legations served to represent national interest, with them also referring to the physical office. So now this here is the road trip map that Kiribayashi, the path. So he started in California, leaving Yokohama in 1928 March aboard the SS Tayomaru. He arrived in San Francisco via Hawaii. I'm sorry, I just want to say it like that. Left San Francisco on April 16th for Los Angeles via Yosemite Valley, arriving on the 17th of April. Then he fast-forwarded his butt to D.C. Actually, he left L.A. for Washington via the Grand Canyon. So he did spend time at the Grand Canyon, apparently. And Chicago, arriving on April 24th. He moved to Buffalo in May. He relocated to Buffalo in August 1928. Moved to Boston. He moved to Boston in May. Then relocated to Buffalo. Number 6. Returned to D.C. in 1928, November. In January 1929, in January 1929, he moved to Fort Bliss, presently home to the U.S. Army Air Defense Artillery Center, also staying in El Paso. Then he went to Mexico City, or says Mexico City, He went to Mexico in 1929. In August to September, from August through September of 1929, he stayed at Fort Riley, now the base for the 24th Infantry Division. Made motor trip to Kansas. We're not in Kansas anymore. To Kansas City in particular, in the autumn of 1929. Man, he went to the middle. He really covered a lot of ground. Then, in December 1929, left Fort Riley, traveling by car through the Allegheny Mountains, stayed in D.C. for the rest of December and January of 1930. And then number 12, I believe, is his final departure. In April 1930, he left D.C. I have my camera blocking it, so I'm trying to lean my head over to see what it says. For New York City, where he boarded the SS Laconia for Liverpool, England, traveled to London, Paris, and Berlin, and nowhere near Berlin. Bratislava! Okay, that's a movie reference. That's the movie Euro Trip. Before returning home via the Trans-Siberian... Oh, they had a Trans-Siberian Railroad. No wonder Putin has so many problems. He must have, they must have been dealing with this for a while, huh? Okay, I'm not even gonna expand on that joke. Arrived in Tokyo in July 1930. So yeah, he spent nearly 2 years, or about 2 years, in the U.S. And this is a day in his life right over here, just like the Beatles song. Let's see if we can tweak this a little bit here. There we go. I think it's about as good a focus as we're gonna get. What's up, RS218? I gotta update my Stream Elements bot or mix it up so that I can link people automatically. But yes, RS218 can be found on YouTube at RS218. Hey, by the way, DJ Play Nice, do you want a wrench? And does RS have a wrench? Good, he has a wrench, right? I see a shield next to his name. I'm pretty sure that's the same as a wrench, right? Yeah. Let me know if you want a wrench too, DJ Play Nice. I mean, you're not obligated to do anything, but I figure, if you want a wrench, you can have a wrench, You're cool. And if you don't have a wrench, anybody, it doesn't mean you're not cool. It just means that people with wrenches are cooler. I'm just trolling. So anyway, this is cute right here. So you can see it's got Japanese here. So first time I read this page, I was like, man, I keep looking up at my screen and the colors don't look right, yo. It's getting me tight here. I want the colors to be perfect. That's about right. I think it's pretty close to real colors we're gonna get. And is my lens dirty? I think we're gonna clean the lens too. I have a bottle of alcohol here. It's huge. I got a not brand new, but I refilled my squirt bottle of alcohol. Oh, I'm on camera. You can see that. Never clean camera lenses with alcohol, guys. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I write my own rules. I write my own rules, so I can do it, but you guys can't because I write the rules. I don't know. I'm just making up shit here. I'm just messing around. Honestly, I'm not even sure what's better, if it's better to have this on an angle or not, but I'll keep putting on an angle until I get tired of propping the book up. So, right off the bat, didn't need to use Google Translate because we have this, and boy, is it unreadable. Well, it's not entirely unreadable, it's like I said, striking that balance, I think we'll just make everything a little darker. We'll be fine. I'm just checking the camera's shutter speed. Oh yeah, there we go. That helps a lot. Yeah, we're not going to get this book propped up at an angle. In fact, we don't need to worry about it anymore because the paper is not glossy. So we're not going to have any problems reading this anyway, right? There we go. What is? Oh, I'm trying to get this like to be perfect. Right. Okay. That'll do. Okay. The heat is oppressive today. I often go without a hat these days, leaving for school, studying in my room at the boarding house, getting vacantly, gazing vacantly at the cityscape. And you can see a lot of times he draws cars. Now, he didn't get to interact with the common man all of the time, but for whatever reason, he often did draw pictures of people going about their routine, idly resting on a park bench, posting my letters to Taro. And you can see it says U.S. Mail. Taking a bath, and he's taking a bath. That's a cute picture. I think he's just sitting there taking a bath. You know, he's showing his son, sonny boy, take a bath. Don't forget to take a bath. Listen to your mom when she tells you to take a shower. You young one. You know what I mean? Like telling your kid to shower is always a good thing, right? It's so weird. Why does this look like it's in focus and this isn't? This is driving me batshit insane, guys. Okay, maybe it's fine. Regarding the Army officers, so yeah, it is actually relevant here. No, there's not a lot of reading in here. It was a common practice to encourage Army University honor students to continue their education abroad. It will put the PR guy on screen. Oh, why can't Reggie read this? Reggie? No, okay. Army University honor students abroad. Oh, yeah, I said that. A total of 28 graduates were sent overseas during the 3-year period following Kiribayashi's graduation. 10 alumni were sent to Germany, 7 to France, 1 to England, and 4 to America. 1 to Poland, 2 to the USSR, Soviet Union, and 3 to China. The Japanese army, it should be remembered, was modeled in 1886 after its counterpart in Germany. Perhaps this explains the small number of students sent to England and the U.S. Looking back, such a bias may have played a role in Japan's subsequent defeat in the war. On the eve of his departure, Kiribayashi hosted a party for 60 guests. See page 174. The affair cost him 600 yen, roughly $300 U.S. Saburo Endo, a classmate of Kiribayashi who was on his way to France, happened to keep detailed notes. The monthly stipend for a student at the time was 500 yen, which was equal to a general salary. Huh? Okay, that kind of makes sense. It was more than enough. I often entertained friends, diplomats, among others. Oh, I see. So, yeah, so it was only $100 more than his monthly salary. I often entertained friends, diplomats, among them. Endo received $18.75 to cover his travel expenses when he left Japan. With the 20% discount extended for official travel, he paid 800 yen, $788.97 for the voyage from Yokohama to Marseille, France. But when Major Endo returned home, his monthly salary shriveled to 190 yen. I handed my wife 160 for the household expenses, which left me with a mere 30 yen for spending money, he said. An ordinance in 1931 authorized a 10% cut in government salaries. With the onslaught of global depression, the Army's coffers were depleted. And this is a picture of unknown. No, seriously, what is this? The view to the north. I guess they'll show us the translation later. Oh, here it is. There is a residential area to the north of Harvard University, and in the distance you can see Somerville in the mist. The structure on the left is the museum clock tower, and directly under my window are rooftops of various other buildings. At times, pretty ladies stroll along the streets to escape the heat. The city of Boston can be seen to the east. The rest of the views are similar. So this is Boston, guys. That's what Kiribayashi saw of Boston. And then here's another picture. Now, once again, see, every other page going forward is going to be Japanese, English, Japanese, English. You'll always see that they take out the background color, I guess, to make it more readable. So they kind of did a little bit of manipulation to the image to make it more contrasty. But you can see a dog and a cat. You see some automobiles. You see a bus. I believe that bus says Huntington? Huntington. Huntington. What is Huntington? Right, it does say Huntington on it, right? Okay, I think we got the focus more or less as good as it's going to get now. I have to be very careful when crossing this street. Cars come from every direction. America is filled with cars. Here's an American train. All of the seats face forward. If you want, you can sit on the roof of some of them. There are no overhead wires. The lines are underground. Meow, meow. An American dog. Cats are the only thing in America has in common with Japan. I feel very close to them. At times, they seem like my only friends. I yearn for home. Why don't you draw a car for me, Taro? Then you got him like laying down on the ground. I think it's at Harvard. And then here's the high contrast version of the same picture, but instead of, yeah, you see how they kind of compressed it a little bit. It is very hot. I went to the grounds of Harvard University to lay down. A squirrel visits. Oh, I look like a little fan. Entrance, Prescott Avenue. Ranks, branches, and organizations within the Japanese Army. A soldier is a member of a branch and an organization and is assigned a rank. His rank corresponds to the position in the organization. For instance, in 1923, Kiribayashi was a cavalry captain, rank and branch, and his position was company commander in the 15th Cavalry Regiment organization. The largest unit in the organization is the division. The Guards Division, and the 1st Division were both located in Tokyo. By the end of the Meiji era, there were 15 divisions, and that number increased with each new year. Kiribayashi finished middle school under the old system when he was 20 years old and enrolled in the Army Officers Academy. There he was made second lieutenant and went on to study for a year at the Cavalry Academy. He was promoted to lieutenant and entered the Army University. Where did I lost my train of thought. Where he did the equivalent of graduate work. Kiribayashi graduated from the Army University at the age of 33. He was an elite member of the Army. And you got some crap here. You got officers. Yeah, this I see how it is. You know what it is, this camera? It's like the optics are like not like consistent. Like depending on what region you're holding the thing in and what angle everything is sitting in. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna buy a new camera, but one of these days I'm gonna buy a new camera, like in the far future. Like what I would do is I'd buy like a mirrorless camera that I can leave mounted like over here. So I wouldn't use it as my main webcam, but I think a nice mirrorless camera with a manually adjustable lens would be kind of cool. But then again, I could make a ton of reasons why I wouldn't want to buy one. Anyway. Officers, second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, major general, lieutenant general, the rank he was when he commanded the garrison at Iwo Jima, ground chief of staff. Commander of company, commander of regiment, commander of battalion, commander of division, military commander. Where the heck is regular general? Officers, NCO, soldier, ranks, branches, infantry, Okay, you get the idea. Okay. Now, this is the picture from earlier that we saw in color. And we're going to read what he says. The old man is watering his lawn. Here are some American children at play. Tricycles are very popular around here. Whenever I see kids playing, I stop to watch and wonder if Taro is happily playing at home. I stop to chat, telling him all about Japan. So he's telling the old guy about Japan. In Japan, they would be shouting, Sore like, Sore Ike. Wait. Sore Ike, Sore Ike, Sore Ike. Go, go. Taro, be sure to eat well and play nicely with your friends. Then he's got some trees here. I think this is a cars tree. I don't know why it looks so off from this angle. I think it's just a fact of life. Yeah, I think it's about right. This is St. James Street in Buffalo, where I now live. It is a residential neighborhood, and you can buy drugs here. I mean, that's modern Buffalo. And as you can see, it is very big. There are very few people on the streets, and it is very quiet. A 15-minute drive will take you to the crowds and noise downtown. Yeah, Buffalo is like in the middle of nowhere. It's like a 6 or 10 hour drive from New York City. I had a friend who went to university there. These are two old ladies peeling potatoes and making preserves. This drawing shows some elderly American women chatting up a storm as they work in the kitchen. The one in blue is my landlady. Which one is blue? The one peeling a peach lives on the third floor. She has come down to help. Much like how Japanese women pickle vegetables, my landlady makes preserves to store in the winter. She works all day. And basically you can see it's like this part also mentions here basically that he wasn't super good at conversational English. Then, yeah, they're not peeling potatoes. They're peeling peaches, Game Gear Goddess. Yeah, I mixed it up. She's peeling peaches, not potatoes. But yeah, I did say potatoes. I did say that. I was, yep. So, basically, I had a hard time speaking English. His intention was to reside in a city where there was no Japanese population to speak of and polish up his conversational English. All military officers sent abroad to study had to undergo this demanding course of study. Apparently, it brought results. Riding from Fort Bliss, Texas in 1928, Kobayashi said that he was able to hold lively conversations with his friends. Captain Weitman, which, by the way, I tried looking up Captain Weitman, Weitman. Google's like, he don't exist. He doesn't exist. Reggie? Now we're getting Reggie in on this. We gotta fire up Reggie. We're gonna fire up Reggie. We're gonna get Reggie. We're gonna pick his good voice. We're gonna pick his good model. Where's oh crap. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. I totally lost it. Okay, that's gonna take 2 minutes. Processing. Putting a bookmark in the book. Let me see here. So let's watch some movie scenes. Right? There we go. Now we got Fighter Pilot, so me and Reggie can sit side by side. Me and Reggie. We're both cartoons today, Reggie. Okay, but jokes aside. He's writing to now. By the way, yes, I have subtitles, but when I edited this in DaVinci, I did not have the subtitles. I didn't really take the time to burn them in or bake them into the video, so we're just not gonna have subtitles for this. But you can see there's like a Ford back then. I suspect that you had to fix or repair them daily because that's what Ford means. It means fix or repair daily. Or what's the other joke? Does anybody ever have any other Ford jokes? Like what Ford means, you know, like find, what else is there? Fix or repair daily. I know there's another nickname for Ford. I just can't remember what it is. But anyway. These are beautiful collector cars too, by the way. Like, I don't think these are CGI. These are all like Clint Eastwood or his team had to track down people with vintage cars to film. Today, they wouldn't even bother. They'd probably just CGI them, which luckily CGI cars look real. That looked like a Model T kind of. I don't know if that is a Model T, but it's got that soft top. That could be a Model, whatever letter comes after T. That could be a Model U. He's got that cool fedora. It almost makes me want to bring back the fedora. I'm not going to do it, though. I used to wear a fedora for like 5 minutes. I don't know. Did those old cars have AC? Hell no. Hell no. No, they did not have AC. That's why they got the open top. Well, that's not why they have the open top. I'm sure it helps. But you know what an old car air conditioner look like? Oh, I can show you. It's pretty funny. Because my mom told me about this. Back in the 80s, you knew a car had an AC on it because it would have like... look, you've seen these units too, not this. Like, let's see, like we're gonna go to maybe the 70s, 1970s or 80s. Okay, let's go to 1980s. Why are they only showing me these? Google sucks right now. Okay, 1970s car air conditioning. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna be fine to Google search. 1970s rooftop air conditioner for a car. This is not right. Like, this is more like, that's like a refrigerated truck. That kind of looks like one a little bit. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That right there. So, I think this is a modern unit, but as I understand it, I've seen other examples of these before. Like, yeah, that's exactly it right there. So that would have been like an early car air conditioner. And then, like, at some point, my mom pointed out that at some point people would notice that. Wait, is this a modern thing? It's a modern thing. This is no, this is a modern unit, I think. I think that's like if you have a car that you need to modify, or if you need to install air conditioner without taking apart the car. This might be a modern unit, like for like adding AC to old cars, or replacing the AC in the car without actually fixing the AC. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here, but I have a feeling this is like, it says RV on it, so that kind of tells us a lot right there. But like this over here, like that's what, like I've seen these before, and apparently at some point in time cars had them on the roof, but now I'm questioning my memory, and for whatever reason Google keeps insisting on showing me this ugly ass jet blower attachment bullshit here. It's kind of pissing me off because, like, I feel like Google is leaving out history just to be a dick. But, stuff like this. Like, you see, you got power cables, maybe refrigerant. I don't even know what's hooked up to that. Now, a modern rooftop air conditioner. Yeah, I don't know. These old school cars have, yeah. Who needs a CG? Who needs CG? Sedan say 2 exists. Sedans. Sedans. Yeah, you got a point there. We had a 1980s Mitsubishi Galant with AC. Looks nice though. Yeah. Car AC. Like I want to see like a. I just want to see a sedan that has a big ass rooftop unit. I don't know if they exist. I might just be imagining this, but I swear, like, I've seen this before, But you definitely see them sometimes. You see like a trailer or a construction trailer, and sometimes they'll have a rooftop unit. You'll see like, but okay, so we're not really seeing it, but that's all right. And then when they innovated and they started building the AC next to the engine or under the hood, that was when you would see cars driving around with their windows closed in the summer, and you knew that they're driving with their windows closed because they have AC. So yeah, those cars are real though. So here he's walking the island again, and it should be noted that the island of Iwo Jima is nicknamed, or I guess the Japanese name is Sulphur Island, and it's a volcanic island. In fact, Iwo Jima has been rising. Like, there's actually boats that got sunk during the war that are now above the water line. Just to give you an idea of like, how geologically active the whatever you call it, the crust beneath Iwo Jima is. Behind him is Mount Suribachi, where they did the flag raising. My first car didn't have AC. 1974 Mercury Comet. Ooh, a Mercury Comet. I want to see a Mercury Comet now. Let's see a 1970 Mercury Comet. Comet here. Ooh, look at that. I'm going to pretend that DJ Play Nice either had the yellow one or the red one because he's cool. Or maybe he had the brown one because he didn't want to get gouged on insurance. I don't know if they did that back in the day, but I hear they charge you more for insurance to have a red car because, they know you're going to drive that shit hard. Like, statistically, the actuarial math definitely says this is going to happen. This asshole, not this asshole, but whoever buys a red car is going to be fucking around and finding out. Hey, Reggie, we're live right now. I'm reading about General Kiribayashi, General Tadamichi Kiribayashi. He was the commander, the general in charge of the garrison at Iwo Jima. And I believe it was Mad Dog Howland Smith said he was, of all the adversaries he dealt with in World War II, Kiribayashi was the most redoubtable. Anyway, I got a great book today that I've already been reading to the audience. Pictures from the commander in chief. And it's basically pictures that Kiribayashi drew and sent to his son Taro back at home during World War II. Well, actually, from 1928 to 1930. Later in the book, they do have some letters he wrote from Iwo Jima as well. So we got a lot of stuff here today. But I forgot I was gonna ask you a question, Reggie. Oh, we were talking about rooftop air conditioner, but I couldn't really find any good examples of cars from the 70s or early 80s with air conditioners on the rooftop that looked like the one I was expecting to find. But I'm not gonna worry about it. Guess while we're here, I forgot what I was gonna ask you, but how you doing, Reggie? I was gonna ask Reggie how he's doing. Let's make sure the Rumble chat is working real quick. I do see we have an audience on Rumble right now, so I do want to thank the Rumble audience for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. I'm gonna make sure the Rumble chat is on screen. It should be on screen. I mean, like, it's okay if you guys don't chat. You're allowed to lurk. Of course, you're allowed to lurk. I can't tell you not to lurk, but seriously, it's all good. As long as you're enjoying the show. Okay, good. We got the Rumble chat. I don't want to I don't want to fail to recognize anybody in the chat. But sometimes I get a message on Rumble, and I forget to read the Rumble chat. And I just don't want to do that. See, oh, that's what I was gonna ask Reggie. Okay. Hey Reggie, I was reading picture letters from the Commander in Chief by Tadamichi Kiribayashi, edited by Tasuyuko Yoshida. It is a book containing pictures that General Kiribayashi drew when he was a captain in 1928. He visited the United States and traveled across the United States from 1928 to 1930. He spent a great deal of time living in Buffalo, New York. And because his son was 3 years old at the time, he included pictures in his letters so that his wife could show the pictures while reading the letters to her son. My question is, what was my question again? Crap, I forgot my question again. Maybe I'll remember the question if I open up the book. Oh yeah, in the book they mentioned that Kiribayashi befriended a Captain Wheatman, or that's Whiteman, Weitman. But Google says there is no Captain Whiteman or Wheatman. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like I said, spelled Weitman. Do you have any information about this Captain Wheatman or Whiteman, Weitman, in reference to Tadamichi Kiribayashi during his visit to the United States between 1928 and 1931? Let's see. All right. Okay, so we saw the bus. We saw him in the park with the squirrel. We saw some stuff about ranks. We see him with the old man. We covered a lot of book already, haven't we? We see the old ladies peeling peaches, not potatoes, like I said before. I'm gazing at photos of you and the others. Goodness, how you have grown. This is a fine tricycle. Well now, is this a friend of yours? My, what a tiny baby. Here I am taking a walk. Should I step it up and sing a song? The leaves have started to fall, meaning it's autumn. And look at that. He's like, got a guy waving to him from a window, and he's like sitting over here, and he's walking. I keep fit by exercising regularly, even in the cold weather. Your mother worries about my constant drawing. But Taro would not understand my letters without them. Why would his wife worry about him drawing? That's funny. Also, my drawings do not require as much attention as your mother imagines. They are just sketches. Yeah, it's true, right? Right, Game Gear Goddess, you could attest to this, right? Like these are good pictures. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're great pictures, but like they get the point across, but they're not exhausting to draw it, right? I mean, these are just quick and dirty, right? I mean, like, one thing I've learned is that, like, drawing sketches is like being a human facsimile machine. You merely have to draw a facsimile of what you want to draw. You don't really need to be perfect. You just need to get the point across, and that's how a facsimile works. Blue, my least favorite color. It had a pinstripe package and a 302. Not a cool car. But in 1986, it cost me $350. And a high school car with bench seat. Ah, hello, Friday night. Yeah, bucket seats, man. That must have sucked, man, trying to get a girl in the back of your bucket seats, man. I mean, I think you can make it work, but, you know. Anyway, back on topic to the art. The Game Gear Goddess says they're competent. Thank you. I got to go back to my stream. You've been watching me the whole time? Thanks for tuning in, Horace. I got to go back to my stream. But before I go, did you play Mario? I did not, but I could. Oh shit! I did say that. I'll drop a message in your chat. I'll play a little Mario. I did say I want to play Mario 3 tonight, so I'd love to do that. I'll do that in a little while. You know, it'd be a good thing to break the monotony of reading. You know, so yeah, it's a great idea. Don't worry. Do your thing, man. I'll pop into your chat. You know what? You watched me during your stream. I'll watch you during your stream in a little while. Not too. I won't be too late. Patsy is my elderly landlady's 4-year-old niece. She has come to stay for 10 days and constantly comes to my room. Her mother has her hands full, so the landlady has brought her here. She is mischievous, friendly, and a handful. She always is in my hair, but she left for home yesterday. Mr. Kurubayashi, do you like me? Very much? More than Taro? Yes, Taro, she knows your name. Oh, it's so sweet. So think about it, like, this is the guy who fucking commanded the garrison at Iwo Jima, and he's becoming friendly with, like, an American girl, like, a decade and a half. In fact, yeah, this girl would have been grown up by the time the Battle of Iwo Jima went down, right? Like, let's say it's 1930. That's like 15 years before. So if this girl is like 5 years old, she's in her 20s by that point in time. Hell, her fucking boyfriend might have been on the island fighting, you know, and possibly dying there, which is pretty fucking wild. I routinely exercise for 10 minutes in front of the mirror. Ah, he's one of those guys. You know when you pump iron in front of the mirror so you can, like, admire him? It must be like, yeah, you know, like the fucking movie, pardon my language. You know the movie American Psycho when he's like, okay, no, he's not working out in that movie. He was in the bed. That movie was weird, yo. You got Christian Bale banging chicks, and then he's got a mirror, and while he's banging the girl, he's like flexing to the mirror. It was like that guy was like in love with himself. That guy was just insane, man. That movie's like a real trip, man. But no, this guy's not insane. This guy is the opposite of Christian Bale in American Psycho. And what I like about this sketch here is he outlined it so that you could see his hands are doing this. So I guess he's doing stretches or jumping jacks or something like that. Maybe some calisthenics. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, he has you on stream. Yeah. I see. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks, Doris. I'm sorry I didn't play Mario earlier. Cover a lot of ground today. Well, we're going to try to cover a lot of ground today. Drawing is just putting 3D shapes together. So what you're saying is drawing is when humans are rasterizing images. We are walking raster processors. All right. What part of the book should we leave off? Let's skip ahead a little bit. By the way, you want to see something weird? Look at the pages on this book. I thought it was defective, like one of those self-publishing things, but no, apparently this is like a thing. They cut this side of the book to look like shit. As like, why does everything look like it's in focus when I hold it close when I thought I already had it in focus? What is the correct focal point? No, I think it was already. I think this camera just has a suboptimal focal point unless I lower it. There we go. Now it's, but yeah, see, like the paper here, it's got that like fake, like antique thing. Apparently it's a thing they do for history books or books relating to history. So you got him at a party. Oh yeah, did Reggie tell us about Captain Whiteman? Reggie? Oh shit, I never sent the message to Reggie. Reggie, process quickly. Andale. That's Andale, not Andre. All right. Seriously, though, let's get back on topic. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a 5-year-old here. Farewell wire from Commander Kiribayashi. 2,400 hours, March 17th, 1945. You know, this is absolutely worth reading right here. The war had. Oh, I read this in his other book. In the book where it's just his written letters, I read this already, but it's going to be beautiful, guys. So, if I go off camera, it's not because I'm crying. The war has reached its. The war has reached the final stages. Ever since the beginning of the onslaught, my men have fought with courage that would have brought even demons to tears. They have fought against the unimaginable superiority of enemy weapons that attacked from land, sky, and sea. Using their bare hands and fists, I am in debt to them. In fact, let's put up a video real quick while I read this, because the video is relevant, because there's actually a scene in here. There's a number of scenes in here. So, you know, you can see he's doing all the prep work. Oh, this is shit, I forgot his first name. This is Baron Nishi. And Baron Nishi is an Olympian equestrian. He rode the horse. And there's a scene when the horse gets killed in battle, and I know my friend Jolly would love that shit because Jolly hates horses. Yeah, let's get a video of Jolly getting harassed by the horse. Jolly horse. I really have a video of this shit. See, look, see, it's Jolly from Snow Dub. That's Baron Nishi riding across the island with his horse. That's in the movie the horse is named Uranus, or Uranus, but in real life the horse's name is Jupiter. He's got a hole in his shirt. One time I went on a stream with a hole in my shirt, and Mrs. Flu and all these other people noticed I had a hole in my shirt, and I was like, I think I put like duct tape on it. I put duct tape on the hole in my shirt, and it worked. I gotta adjust my settings here real quick. There we go. Okay. I just want to make sure my mouth moves when I talk, you know? Because I am a virtual tuber. Virtual DJ. Oh, wait, that's an actual app. Let's watch that one more time. So he jumps over the boards with his cool horse. Wait a second. There it is. Look, see, Jolly is marching. He's an army guy. Ah! And I can do that in Jolly's voice. Ah! I don't know if it's a good impersonation of Jolly, but I'm going with it. And everyone laughs at him. And this is the reason why Jolly has a problem with the horse. It's because there's very, very embarrassing moment in his military career when Tadachi, I think it's Tadachi. Well, anyway, when Baron Nishi knocked him over, and ever since then, he can't let it go. And then all of his soldiers were like, ah, ah. Well, and all jokes aside, Baron Nishi did not bring a horse to Iwo Jima. He never brought the horse to the island. It never happened. Like, this horse stayed home. This horse died of malnutrition and sickness because everyone was starving in Japan at the time, right? I think he died after the war, but the horse died in Japan. Probably after the battle was over, the people taking care of the horse kind of like stopped giving a shit because they needed to eat. You know what I mean? Like, you don't not feed the commander's horse. What's he? Hey Google, what was Baron Nishi's rank during the Battle of Iwo Jima? Hey Google, what was Baron Nishi's rank during Iwo Jima? Hey Google, you suck. You need to be able to tell me the rank of Baron Nishi during World War II at the Battle of Iwo Jima when I ask you for that question or answer. Google asked me what it wanted me. Yes. He was actually Lieutenant Colonel. So we'll call him Colonel. So Colonel Baron Nishi. He was the tank guy, and in fact, we're gonna see an example of what he did as Tank Man in a minute. So here he's saluting the guy, then they're shaking hands, and he meets the horse. Then they go and they drink some Johnny Walker. Yeah, they're literally drinking Johnny Walker. And then he's basically saying, like, dude, I want to eat the same shit as the soldiers. What's up, Peter Venkman fan site? Good to see you. So basically, he's like, dude, I'm going to eat the same shit the rest of the soldiers are eating. Don't give me special treatment because I'm not a dick. And this isn't like embellishment, at least not to a great degree, because this is a man who was known to bring fruit baskets to his wounded soldiers in the hospital. But the problem was that when a high-ranking guy comes to see you in a hospital, you might be a little embarrassed. You know what I mean? You might be like, yes, sir, and it might stress you out a little bit. So when his friend, who was a low-ranking fellow who is friends with him, said as much to him, he stopped visiting the hospital. He would drive to the hospital with the fruit basket, and he would send his friend in to deliver the fruit baskets with the card from, you know, from himself, Kuribayashi, because, you know, he didn't want to, like, you know, stress out people who are recovering from, you know, wounds. And back then, it wasn't common for a high-ranking guy to, you know, be nice to people of lower rank. So, you know, I think it was just like he had to strike that balance, you know? There we go. So, let's get to it. So basically, he like is told that it's a rule that you got to give the high-ranking guys 3 like dishes or 3 courses, and I think he like may have like made a change to that rule after this. So now he's doing some gunnery practice with his man here. They kind of like, he's just like, you hustle, pretend to be an American attacker. Over there! Hey! Oh, I forgot to mention, so they're on a regular beach over here, but on the parts of the beach where there's volcanic sand, it's very hard to walk. So earlier in this scene, you'll see him using a walking stick on the beach, and it's very hard to stand. And it's because you basically, like, if you try to move fast in that sand, you sink faster. Your feet sink into the ground, your feet get engulfed, your ankles get engulfed. So then one of the guys notices that Kuribayashi has a beautiful, look at that thing. I think it's a Colt. I'm not really familiar with arms here, but it was gifted to him by the guy, I believe, in Texas or at the other military base when he was visiting the U.S. And it's got an ivory handle on that shit. It's a beautiful, beautiful, whatever you call it. I don't know if we're allowed to say that word on YouTube. But what's up with gun YouTubers, yo? Why is that like there are YouTube channels where all they do is guns? But then when a non-gun YouTube channel pulls out one gun, it's a big fucking deal. Like, I pull out a Nintendo Zapper, I bet you my video gets taken down. But you got entire videos about guns, and that's cool. Like, I'm sure there's a logic to it. I just don't know what the logic is. See? That's the volcanic sand again. Oh, crap. They detected content that doesn't belong to me. I knew this was going to happen. I edited this, but I didn't edit it very thoroughly. So we'll have to be careful. We'll probably just skip through the pictures a little bit. So you can see he's doing more. Oh yeah, this is I wanted you guys to see this here. But yeah, this is why I do this. So guys, remember, like, if you ever stream on YouTube, you keep the YouTube studio control room open, and you can monitor this. You can see when it knows when you're playing content. So if I didn't see this warning, I'd keep playing the movie. Eventually the stream will get blanked out. But because I have this up, I can see this. So that's how that works. Kind of cool that they have that feature, actually, in my opinion. You can't handle guns during a live. Gun type things as well. Okay, I didn't know that. That's the answer. Okay, it's live. So this is important right here because I didn't realize the guy with the goggles here is Baron Nishi. So later on in the movie when he gives the order to fire, that's who's telling him to fire. It's Baron Nishi. I didn't realize that first time I see him, but he's wearing a tank helmet. He's probably got a radio, maybe. He might be wired up. I'm not really sure. I don't really see. I see a wire on his chest, but I don't know if he's actually hooked up to anything. This guy's wearing a gas mask, so I don't know if there's sulfur in there or if it's just very dusty inside that cave. That bottle of Johnny Walker is getting smaller and smaller. So this old guy comes to him and he hands him a letter, and he's basically telling him, like, please tell them to send us fucking resources. He's like very serious about it. And he's like, please, for the love of God, fucking do it. Tell the assholes, the top brass, we need shit here. And he gives a deep bow. He's like very serious. He's like, please fucking send me some reinforcements, something. Shit, my stream, I'm getting that block error again. And then this is during an air raid siren. And I don't think we're going to get to play this scene. But I'm going to try to play it because it's too cool. You got some F4U Corsairs coming in. Then this guy gets strafed. Look at the strafing effect on that, though. Great pyrotechnics. Gotta be a hell of a position to be in, huh? Also, yeah, see the thing on the back of the hat? That keeps mosquitoes off your neck. I want to be in a movie where I get killed like that. How many people, like, famous people do a cameo, and the cameo they do is them dying brutally, and it's like, they love it. It's, like, hilarious to them. It's like, man, I'm so happy I got to be in that movie as the guy gets shot to pieces. And I think these are, like, B-17s or B-29s, maybe. We bombed the shit out of this island before the battle with Iwo Jima. We actually thought that we had this shit figured out. We leveled the fucking surface of the island. What we didn't do was make a dent, or we didn't really do anything to the cave systems. There's caves all over this island. Under the actual island, as well as under Mount Suribachi. And that is what, like, you know, expanding those caves further, which was part of, you know, Kuribarashi's strategy, was expanding the cave system more than it already was. That played a role in them being able to hold out for as long as they did, making this as bloody of a battle as it was. I'm not saying it's a good thing that was bloody for us, but, you know, how do I phrase it? I don't need to be a hater at this point, right? You know, it's water under the bridge. Also, while the Chinese are mad at the Japanese, why the Americans aren't so mad at the Japanese? I mean, soldiers, you expect soldiers to get brutalized. You expect soldiers to have a bad time at a POW camp. Not that many Americans give them a free pass for that. But it's like, it's par for the course. But in China, a lot of people who got fucked were civilians. So, yeah, they're salty about it. Understandably so. And I'm sure Game Gear Goddess could speak on how it was in the Philippines. So anyway, we got a picture of his family right over there. Like, you got Taro. His wife looks pretty cute. You got his daughter Takako, and you got his wife Yoshi in a kimono. Oh look, he's drawing chickens. This is mentioned in the book too. He mentioned that the chickens laid eggs and then the chickens grew up and got big. Look at that. That's cool. Let's watch that again. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. And then these guys are shitting themselves. They're like, that's... Oh, this is a great scene. I love this scene. So this guy had to take the shit bucket out, right? Like, you know, everyone had to shit in a bucket because if you didn't shit in a bucket, you get fucking, what's that shit called? Cholera? No. What's the other disease you get from shit? Is it dysentery and, rubella? No, it's not rubella. You know, you get diseases from the cesspit. So while they were kind of hunkered down, they were shitting in a bucket. So it was this guy's turn to bring the shit bucket out. So they hand him the shit bucket. So here he is doing his thing. And he drops the shit bucket on the other side of the hill. Wait. Oh, sorry. And it is an undetonated mortar round, I think. You got lucky with that one. So they had a bunch of hidden emplacements everywhere during the big battle scene. Oh yeah, this is it. It's on. It's on. So right here, what we got up in here, we played this on stream before, but I mean, why not watch it again? So we got drop landing craft, but in addition to the Higgins boat, which are the boats with the door in the front, they have LVT-1 alligators, LVT-01 alligators, made in Florida. So any Floridians here, there's actually one on display outside of a museum. If you ever want to see it, there is an alligator. They were also called Amtraks, as an amphibious tracked vehicle. And they basically could paddle through the water using the tank track or tracks and then drive right up onto the beach. And they were instrumental during the Battle of Saipan because they could roll right over the coral reefs in some cases. Baranishi. So one of the things was that when we first landed on the island, the Japanese didn't fire right away. They did that on purpose because they wanted us to make sure we were nicely on the beach, complacent. You know what I mean? Like, they wanted to make sure that, like, they wanted to make sure they got the kill in, right? You know, if you start shooting too early, we know where to. We're gonna use fire support to take out any gun emplacements. So they waited a little bit before opening fire, and there we go. You can see the Amtraks rolling off, and notice that it's a bit like a pickup truck. So the drivers sit up here under this light armor. You got twin machine guns on some of them. You got other types of guns on other ones. And on the side, it's sort of like pontoons. There's like, you can even see here, inside the track, or, you know, surrounded by the track, this is sort of like where your water displacement comes from. This is like the flotation portion of the boat itself, you know. So it's a rolling vehicle, but there are hollow compartments, air-filled compartments that allow it to float. And then this is vital because when these were coming off of the LSTs off the ramp on the boats in the ocean, they had to like time it with the wave crest, or the thing would take on water and sink. So if the water got over the side, it would sink like immediately. It was just terrible, super dangerous. You got another one coming in here. You got more Higgins boats over here. Looks like they all have radios on them. Speaking of radio, we had a propaganda campaign. We were using radio to try to talk Baron Nishi into surrendering. We were like, dude, you're a man of the world, an Olympian. The Americans love you. You love America. Just put down your arms. But he's an honorable Japanese leader. He's not doing that shit. See, Baron Nishi's looking. Now, there was a little contention between him and Kuribayashi. Nothing crazy. Just that they disagreed on how to use the tanks. So, Kuribayashi wanted to use the tanks like they were turrets. I mean, you know, like stationary gun turrets. Baron Nishi wanted to use, you know, he's a tank colonel. He wants to use tanks like tanks. You know, he wants to drive them around. He wants to do tank stuff, right? Use tank strategy. But Kuribayashi believed that due to how, at least from what I could figure, actually, I'm just guessing now, but my hypothesis, and I suspect it would say it somewhere in his letters maybe, but I mean, it's kind of indicated in his letters, right? That, like, he understood the material superiority of our forces, and that 30 tanks are not going to hold up for very long if they're out in the open. So the logic, and you see this at the Battle of Saipan, like if you study the Battle of Saipan as much as I have, this was a thing. You know, like they made use of tanks. They had more tanks at Saipan, but we took them out one by one. You know, no problem. I mean, not took some effort, of course, never easy, but bottom line is, so Kiribayashi's opinion was they would be better used as stationary turrets.
攻撃開始。攻撃開始。
And you got the doughboys coming up on here. You can see you got the soldiers. They're on foot. They're rolling on in.
攻撃開始。
There we go. That's Baranishi. There's the tank he was standing next to earlier before. This time hidden behind brush and sandbags and all this other crap. And there's a little up arrow on the side. I wonder why there's an up arrow. Is that to tell the enemy where to open so that they could throw grenades in there? Like, I don't know. That might not be a good thing to have an arrow. Is that like is that like on airplanes when it has a little handle and it says pull here to rescue? That scene was recycled in Flags of Our Fathers. You see that volcanic sand is all over the place. Oh, flamethrower. Wait, let's look at the flamethrower operator. Yo, so these things are cool. I mean, they're not cool, but they're interesting. So they got a compressed gas cylinder and they got like a bunch of gasoline in them, but the gasoline is a mixture similar to napalm. And the primary method of murder, killing, wasn't so much to burn people alive as it was to deprive them of oxygen. So if you're inside a pillbox and a flamethrower flame comes in there, you're going to be deprived of oxygen. So, yeah, that's what happened there. Alright, we're almost at the end, so we go and play Mario. Oh, this is a great scene. Okay, so here's a scene that draws contrast between Kiribayashi and the other rank and file or the leadership in the Imperial Japanese military of the time. So here's a guy who represents the polar opposite of the man that Kiribayashi was. So basically, they're like, lady, you don't have a flag up. This is unpatriotic. What the fuck? So then she's like, oh, my husband's not home because he's at war. And he's like, she's like, can you help me put the flag up? So he's like, yeah, sure. I'll help you put the flag up. Now, he's a good guy. It's the guy behind him who's an asshole. Now, Shibu Inu, he fucking starts barking. Is that what you call the dog, Shibu Inu? So Shibu Inu keeps barking at them. So then the guy's like, dude, this is going to interrupt military communications. We can't have that. He's like, shut up, dog. Shut up, dog. Shut up, dog. Then he's like, take the dog out to the back and shoot it. So then last second, he picks the gun up, shoots it in the air. I don't know how the dog doesn't bark there, but whatever. Yeah, we're skirting the rules very tightly here with the, copyright. So then he gives the dog back, says, keep the dog inside. Oh, God, shit, fuck. Oh no, the dog just barked. He's in fucking trouble, am I right? So, he goes back inside. The other guy, the commander, he blows the dog dead, like, in the middle of their fucking living room. Like, God, it's gotta be a mess. Like, got tatame mats and fucking bamboo and wooden paper fucking, what's that shit called? Shoji screens? That's gotta be a bloody mess. So now what do you think he's gonna do now?
沼を手のような奴が赤が撃てると思うか。国民が
And that's how that guy went from a nice, easy job to being on the island of Iwo Jima.
帰ります。
And then finally, his Kiribayashi doing a road trip. This is the gun that he got from a U.S. Officer. And then it goes back to the beginning of the video because I don't have the scene where he's eating dinner with the officer. But let's go play Mario. So yeah, this was pictures from the Commander-in-Chief by Tadamichi Kiribayashi. You know, obviously he didn't plan on publishing it as a book. In fact, he had no desire or intent to have his letters published. But luckily, somebody, his descendants, allowed this to be done. And I think it, you know, shows the kind of guy he was compared to other Japanese officers. So now let's get Retro Arch opened here. And then we gotta raid Aris. Well, we're gonna visit Aris. So we're not gonna watch videos about the bride price tonight, although there were some interesting ones. Where is it? We're gonna go to Aris's channel. Where's Retro Arch? Here it is. Oh wow, the Retro Arch window is small. All right. Got my gamepad plugged in. What game should Aris play tonight? Union Syndrome? AVT. What the hell is AVVT Colorful Stage? You know, I want to know what that is. So we're going to click on it. Firing up and more.
Come on, jump forward! I want you to put jump forward already today.
Mutant. So I'm just telling Aris to go beat that mutant up in the meantime while I get ready to play Mario. Got Aris in the corner right over there. Wait, why are there two different Super Marios?
I told you to jump.
I don't hear any sound. Oh, I know why I can't hear sound. I still don't hear sound. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I see, that screen looks really small. I feel like the shader I picked is not the best choice. I'm gonna make that screen bigger. Also, the color looks completely foobarred. I must have picked some exotic shader thinking it was gonna be good, and it sucked. So we're gonna pick Mega Bezel Ron Custom. Maybe that'll be a good one. Ah, crap. Wrong thing. Yeah, it looks terrible. That looks absolutely terrible. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get this right. Because I am OCD. Like, I want everything to be perfect. Like, it looks like... I don't know. It don't look right. Maybe it is correct. I don't think it looks right, though. Maybe there's some other setting I messed up a while ago and forgot about. Takes a little bit of computation to get this going. Yeah, no, why don't this look right? It don't look right at all. Might as well just pick a different one. But yeah, I can put objects in my hair. I just hit a screwdriver in my hair. That's funny. I cracked myself up. We're gonna pick the perfect. I want the perfect shader right now. I want the most perfect shader. I do. We're gonna pick the most perfect shader. I think it's called bezel or mega bezel. MNOPQRS. Shoot, I forgot the name of it. Presets, anamorphic border, CRT, CRT advanced. See, I don't think it's this one here. CRT Royale. I hear that one's a good one. Royale with fake bloom. Royale slang. Yo, there's something wrong. I don't know what's up, yo. This is like glowing too much. It's driving me insane. I want perfect, man. I want perfection. I demand perfection. I demand only the best. For you guys who are watching right now, here we are. I found it. I believe it's one of these. Let's pick this one. This one's a gimmick, but we're going to pick it anyway because it's cool. It's a cool gimmick. Ugh. Maybe it's supposed to look like this. Maybe I'm just like forgetting that this is how it looks. You know, we're just going to go back to what I had before because my presets are better. And maybe they're supposed to look like this. Maybe I'm just like not remembering what it's supposed to look like. See, this is the other one. It's called Guest. Yeah, they all look like, it looks like something is wrong, but we're not going to mess with it right now. This one here slows down the computer because I made a custom preset that just totally slows it down. It's pretty wild. We're gonna, oh yeah. See, I don't get it. Like, it looks, I guess it's supposed to look like this. And then we just need one more change. We need to get the aspect ratio to be right. So we're just gonna pick this. Yeah, I swear it looks off, but we're gonna roll with it. My hair piece fell off my head. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh crap, did I just lose? Let's reset the Nintendo. Yeah, that looks good. That's perfect. That's about right. That looks right. Yeah, this looks about as good as it should look. It could look a little better, I think, but I think it's about right. Like I could spurg out and mess with the settings all day. I'm just gonna mess with them for one more minute. Okay, so that's the one where it's like super sharp. So it looks like I already had the right one. I think this one's gonna be too tall. Oh. Are these supposed to be squares or rectangular, vertical rectangles? I feel like they look off. We're gonna stick with it. We're gonna roll with it. It looks fine. I suck at flying this game. I never knew how to fly. No! I don't care. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna see how far I can get in like 10 minutes. Damn it! I already got that. Are you fucking asshole? Ah! Okay, that's not the correct way to do that. Damn it. I think if you run, you get like the star every time. No, wait, we don't get a free life until we get that. Let's see how much time I can make progress in 10 minutes. Ah, can't do that. There might have been a free life above that. We're gonna do a speed run. Come up, come up, come up. Come up. No. No, you're supposed to come out. Attack me. No, no, attack me again. There you go. That's how we do it, I guess. Oh shit, there was a straw there. Okay, so getting a running start does not automatically get you a free life. Got it. We got one star, one mushroom. Magic mushroom. You fucking asshole. What am I?
Fucking shield.
Damn it! Can't get the timing right on that. I was trying to like slide under that shit. Yeah, you fucking cunt. Ha, you thought you were gonna get me. You didn't get me. Can I do this? Can I go behind this? No, it is not one of the hidden walls. Okay. I think there's a timing issue here.
Ew.
I'm not sure. I think there's a timing issue. Could just be me. Oh, just me. We'll wrap it up in a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions about tonight's literature? Please let me know. If you have any questions, comments, ideas, suggestions. What did we not do tonight? We didn't really do space stuff tonight. You know, I want to do some space stuff, but late. You know, I think we'll save that. We can always do space another time. Oh, let's save state this so we can figure out if we get the best prize. Let's try it again. Wait. Alright, so the 2 boxes have 5 flowers. So that's actually the best thing you get. And I know I can skip this level, but why not? Why not complete this level, huh? I don't think I've ever played this game before on the CRT shaders, so probably why it felt so unfamiliar when I looked at it the first time. Oh, I'm supposed to use the mushroom over there. Mushroom. The duck. The turtle duck. Whatever the frick you call him. Yeah, I'm not taking that risk. Ah, you fudge muffin. Ah, crap, I went back too far. Oh, whoa. There's some randomization code in here. Look at this. It must be like based on the time or something. I'm gonna just... That's interesting. Ah, damn it, I don't want to play this level again. Oh well, I guess I'm gonna play it again. Can't really rush through this level because, like, you can only go, you know, like you saw, I tried to rush through it and I jumped too soon. And then I thought I was going to be showing off. I was like, oh, I'm going to show off. I'm going to show that I can rush through a level that you can't rush. Alright, this time I know what to do with the turtle. Ah, yes. Oh, wait, no. Alright, we're going to go ahead. Ooh, this is another part we can use the save state on. It's going to be awesome. This is actually why I'm playing this too. I saw Aris do this. I was like, that's brilliant.
Front forward!
Oh, I got it. That was cool. Well, I guess I got back my life plus 1, huh? Not that it matters. I would just use the save state if I lost again. The volume level was only 25%? Oh, shit. This is my drawing tablet has... Oh, crap. My drawing tablet has its own volume control on it. I'm going to adjust the volume for you guys a little bit. I would have killed for save states when I was a kid. fact, I did have save states when I came. When I got my first emulator with save states, I was like, hell yeah. I was like, this is so cool. I stumbled into it by accident. I was like in the Nesticle menu, and I was like, oh, what's this save state thing? Okay, that doesn't work. Just so you guys know, that does not work. You can't use the tail whip. I kind of suspected that, but I wanted to try it. Hiya, fudge muffin. Ah. Ah, you runt. Oh, that was interesting. You saw the physics there? Man, I'm going to turn off my drawing tablet so I don't hit the button on it by accident. So yeah, RetroArch seems to detect when you unplug your drawing tablet. I guess that's a feature. Oh, that was cool. It saved my life. They need to build like you know the movie Saw? Someone needs to build like a murder house based on this. I mean, don't do that, but if they did, it would be very novel, wouldn't it? Oh shoot, you saw that? I really think my timing's off. I just want to see if it's I think we're gonna play a little bit of this game every week. I think we're gonna make a thing of this. We're gonna just play like a little Mario, just to keep us kind of like, you know, in the good graces of the gods. Hiya, fudge muffin. Yeah, I don't need the flying here. What's over here? Oh shoot. Whatever. What is the floor made of over here? Is it snow? Ice? Is it just foam? I always picture this stuff being made out of styrofoam, but maybe it's glass? Maybe it's a crystal cave? Quartz silica maybe? Huh? He's picking his nose and throwing fire out of it. I'm about to check those NVIDIA G-Sync settings. I'm gonna do it right now. We're gonna learn something today, guys. We're gonna learn if my G-Sync settings are off again. They shouldn't be because I already did it a while ago. But it was something that mattered when I was playing Top Gun. I had to go to synchronization. Here we are. Sync to exact content frame rate. G-Sync, aka FreeSync. So, I don't know how it works precisely, but I know that turning this on made a difference. So actually, I think the settings are correct. Insert extra shader frames between frames. Allow shaders to do effects that run at higher FPS than actual rate. They should be set to current hertz. Do not combine with swap interval. Use a custom swap interval for VSync. Effectively reduces your monitor refresh rate by the specified factor. Auto sets factor based on core supported frame rate. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn this one off. I want to do an experiment just for fun now. Do not combine swap interval greater than 1. I can hear my GPU screaming at me right now. Oh, there is a frame delay setting that we can use if we want. Alright, so this should make the frame rate look higher, or if I use the right shader, it'll make the frame rate look higher. I kind of want to test out motion interpolation now. We're going to test out motion interpolation. So let's see here. We got shader subframes. Okay, I had to turn it on a second time because it turned off when I switched the other setting. Does it look smoother? I think it does look more smoother now. Yeah. But no. I don't care. I don't need it. I don't need the fly. What are you gonna do here? I mean, you could probably make use of flight in this level, but I'm not chancing it. Haha! We're going to prepend the preset with motion interpolation. It's going to be very interesting. We're about to see something pretty cool here. So interpolation means it's going to insert extra frames, if I remember correctly. Unless I'm using the wrong one. Motion interpolation, here it is. This is going to suck the life out of my GPU. Reggie has an answer to our question before. Let's listen to Reggie's answer. Crap, I gotta turn on my drawing tablet so I can click on retro. I gotta click on OBS. I gotta tell OBS right now to let Reggie talk. Okay, there we go. We should be able to hear Reggie when he starts talking, that is. Oh yeah, Game Gear Goddess, if you're still here, I can show you why Lex's echoes. At least I can tell you why. I can show you how I can. I can't tell you why Lex's echoes. I can show you why. I can show you how I can make Reggie echoes. So observe. I'm showing desktop audio. Oh, you can't see that. Yeah, I'll move it to my correct. I'll move OBS up to my upper monitor so you can see it. So over here you can see we got OBS. We got my sound settings here, but cable A is where Reggie's voice comes out, and this is my desktop audio. I've been using desktop audio so far, but the way I have it set up is whenever desktop audio is muted, typically I would mute desktop audio when I'm on your stream, but whenever Reggie speaks, his output is replicated on my sound device. So if I'm wearing my Bluetooth headphones, they come out here. If it's on my USB sound interface, it's over here. Or somebody just tell it to use the default device, and then that follows suit fine, because that'll basically listen to whatever default I set. So we're gonna let Reggie talk. Wait, why isn't Reggie talking? Okay, so I didn't click the checkbox to generate TTS. Okay, That's right. It's generating now, so we'll give it a second. So I'm gonna make this
We're on steady
louder.
now. Let's sort this out carefully. First, we're talking about Tadamichi
You can hear
Kurabayashi,
an
later
echo.
commander at Iwo Jima. And the book you're reading is picture letters from the
Now you cannot
commander-in-chief.
hear an echo.
Now about Captain Whiteman, spelled W-E-I-T-M-A-N. There is no widely documented U.S. Army officer from that period with that exact spelling tied to Kurabayashi. That suggests a few possibilities. Japanese renderings of Western names in the 1920s often distorted vowels. Army schools during his time here, including the U.S. Army Command and General Staff School at Fort
I don't know if you can hear
Leavenworth,
an echo.
private or non-famous officer. Not every officer from 1928 left a searchable historical footprint. Many mid-level officers from that era are not indexed online unless they later became generals or died in action. Kurabayashi spent significant time in Buffalo, observing American industry. If this Captain Whiteman was a local National Guard officer or liaison, records may be buried in. Developed a relatively nuanced view of the United States during that stay. His letters show admiration for American industry and living standards, even while recognizing strategic realities. So this friendship was likely professional, possibly educational. If you want to narrow it down, check footnotes in Yoshida's edition. Sometimes editors include the original Japanese spelling in kana. Whether the Japanese text shows something like Ijianhun or Ajianhen that would help reconstruct the English spelling. U.S. Army Command and General Staff School class, rosters from 19,281,030. If you can find the Japanese rendering of the name from the book, end of line.
All right, let's test it. Learn if my G-Sync settings are off again. They shouldn't be because I already did it a while ago. But let's listen to Reggie's answer. Why isn't Reggie talking?
Not every officer from 1928 left a searchable historical footprint. Many mid-level unless they later from that era, are not indexed online unless they later became generals or died in action. Kurabayashi spent significant time in Buffalo, observing American industry. If this Captain Whiteman was a local National Guard officer or liaison, records may be buried in. Developed a relatively nuanced view of the United States during that stay.
Now, no echo
His letters
again?
show admiration for American industry
Then it
and
goes
living
back whenever I
standards,
unmute.
even while recognizing strategic reality.
So yeah, basically whenever I mute desktop audio, the echo goes away. So my theory is that Lexus can already be heard by OBS because maybe, for instance, like I do this with RetroArch sometimes. RetroArch is I use application audio capture, but if I'm using application audio capture at the same time that I'm using whatchamacallit, desktop audio, which I think I just was. That might not have helped. Anyway, you get the idea. So yeah, I don't know if that. I don't think that necessarily applies to Lexus, but I suspect that it might be related. So that's my theory. Or it could be an amalgamation for the movie. The only caveat with that, Peter Venkman fan site, is that this book is based on the real guy. But that being said, like the movie, I mean, they did take liberties in the movie. Like we talked about the horse. The horse was never on the island. And the horse's name was never Uranus or Myanus. It was Jupiter. But I'm sorry. I cracked myself up, man. But there is a guy, I saw his name mentioned elsewhere in the book. My guess is he made a lot of friends in the U.S. Oh my god. That's loud. Wait. Oh, there we go. Let's see if the motion interpolation works. Yeah, no, this ain't... That was easy. Yeah. Oh shit, there's a card game. Let's go play cards. We're gonna cheat. We're gonna cheat. We're gonna cheat so hard it's gonna be glorious. It's gonna be so glorious. You guys are gonna be like, DJ Ronnie G is the best gambler. Oh. Tried it again. Oh no, it randomizes it every freaking time. You can't cheat your way through this. Oh, whatever. I never liked that game anyway. This one we can cheat through, right? We did it before. Yeah, I think it's time-based. Right, you know what? We got a leaf. We got the, flying leaf. We got the fireball. And we got the star. So, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. I want to diversify. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. I'm gonna finish the castle on level down. So yeah, I just told Aris I'm playing the castle on level 1. But I'm more surprised that, like, they wouldn't have, like, wait a sec. Why did the shaders turn off? Oh my god, the shaders must have crashed when I tried to load the interpolation. Okay, we got it. You hear that? That's the CPU working too hard. The GPU is like, I can't handle this. Alright, so this is not a scanline shader. This is motion interpolation. So we're just gonna do an experiment and see what it does. Frankly, I'm disappointed so far. Alright. Ah, cunt. And I didn't use a save state, so basically if I die here, that's it. Oh, it's not it. Oh, never mind. Got a mushroom here. I love how the game either is telling you to eat mushrooms because they're healthy or because they make you grow. Asshole. I can't see the chat. Wait. That mean I can just go straight to the castle now? Oh shit, I didn't get a mushroom. Wait. Oh, hurry, hurry. Get the magic wand back from the little Koopa. Oh, I see. I get it. I don't remember this being a feature in the game, but apparently you literally gotta go chase the ship down. Okay. Why did I do this? Why did I go in there without collecting any power-ups? That wasn't the brightest thing I've ever done. When to use the PlayStation preset. Ah, crap, I can't find my way around. We're not going to do that right now. This reminds me of the song they played in Star Trek, the Doomsday Machine, when Captain Commodore Decker is firing the. Yeah, you fucking asshole. When Commodore Decker is firing phasers at the Doomsday Machine, he's like, "Oh, come on! What the fudge?" I want to try to keep my fireballs because if I keep my fireballs, I can freaking just use it on the guy. Right? What is that, like a one-hit kill or a two-hit kill? I think it's a one-hit kill. How do they have the technology to fly, but they're building a ship out of wood? Like, does King Koopa only have a budget for Lincoln Logs? Like, what is this shit? Ah, you fucking Yo, thank God. Ah, shit. Okay, whatever. We're gonna roll with it. Three hits. 3 fireball hits too, or I know you got 3 stomping hits. You know when there's a street fight and you stomp someone on the ground? That's how Mario should stomp. They should make it look like that. Oh no, I lost sound. Shit, I hit the mute button by accident. I don't know how to bring it back. Fudge muffin. My finger is leaning on the mute button. Oh my god, you can bring the volume to 300%? I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, this is why I wanted to use the motion interpolation. I wanted to see if this would look cooler. He looks like a sultan. That's a sultan. I think they're promoting Islam. Nah, I'm kidding. Jokes aside, it's a very illustrious style. I understand why they did it. Greetings. If you see any ghosts, be careful. They will give chase if you turn away. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. Princess Toadstool. I love how they call, when you take a poop, they call that a stool. Alright, so we're now in the desert. And I'm going to leave this open for my own benefit. I'm going to play around with the settings. I want to explore the shader settings, although I'll have to exit the emulator, I think, because I don't know how to get back to the folder. Oh, wait, I know how to get to the folder. It's like C:\/RetroArch. Right here, see? RetroArch shaders. There we go. So I want to try the PlayStation shader. We got a lot of shaders. We're going to try this one out. See? That's the one for play. Oh, that looks awful. Honestly, none of these are flattering. Oh, this is a good one. Royale. I think Mega Bezel was better, but not responding. Like, I think I'm gonna play with the settings. I'm gonna disable the bloom. I know that bloom on a CRT is normal, but a good CRT doesn't have that bloom issue. So I think we can like get this better. But I've always played dark games, I guess, like Metroid. So I never noticed that a bright game like Mario looks so bad. But I know that the shaders make everything look better. In my experience, they do. I mean, I swear by them. But, like, this bloom, as they call it, typically bloom is like when the screen gets bright and it looks like it's getting a little bit larger. So, yeah, that's what that is. But, yeah, did I mention, oh, yeah, I didn't show you the airbrush gun real quick. Let's look at that. So, this is pretty interesting. So, this is... And I wish I had more things to ask Reggie, but I don't have anything for Reggie right now, so we'll just leave him alone, I guess. But, so, this is a Gundam marker, right? Well, no, it's not a Gundam marker. This is a Gundam marker. I have a lot of them. I have yellow. Let's grab a yellow one, because I think that one's more depleted. So, you can see here, you got a chisel tip on here. Just a tip. All right. Same thing with the metallic one. You can see it's got like a metallic green to it. And they got marbles or cylinders inside them that you can shake to help mix it evenly. So this is a flat matte. This is a matte red flat, or flat red, meaning that it's not glossy. Now I left. Oh, here's the other marker. I can show you what a brand new one looks like. So we can even open it up and take a look inside. So you can see the glass marbles. So you unscrew it, which in theory, if you take a set of pliers to a Gundam marker, you could probably peel them. You could probably remove the top, but I suspect that they glued them shut, so you might end up cracking it. And there you go. It's just a glass ball. Yeah, it's glass. I just bit it. It's glass. And then this spring-loaded mechanism here, the felt tip pushes on this, and that's how you get the action. Now, interestingly, I actually have a set of felt tips that are porous that you can replace on the Gundam markers in theory, but I found they don't really perform much better on the Gundam marker. Maybe I just don't know how to use them correctly. Whereas this is a felt tip, which probably wastes a ton. It feels like fiberglass or something. I don't know. It's kind of porous, but somewhere on my desk or in my desk, I have a bag of like 4 tips that are porous felt tips, and they're designed to be swapped out. So I do want to try that at some point. I want to try it out. I want to see if those will perform any better. But I'll show you how these perform. So, you put it together, and when you want to write with one of these, you just see, and it gets the ink drawn up and it spreads. And I do have a piece that I did paint already, but we're going to paint something. We're going to paint this plastic container here. So now, when you open it, you might do this, right? Now, it should be noted this is very runny. I should probably add more paint to this here to make it better. So I do have a straw, because I have a theory the best way to draw up the ink is to use a straw. So I cut a straw. It looks like I'm doing drugs, because the straw is, who cuts a straw in half unless they, you know what I mean? Like, that just looks sus. All right, so I don't have my pliers on me, so I have to really. Oh, got it. Okay, good. I had to really grip this piece of paint, kind of. Oh, okay, there we go. So now we're gonna take this here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. So now I should have a piece of paper here somewhere. I don't know where it is. We're gonna just have to take our chances and YOLO it. So we're gonna do the following. We're gonna take this. Ah, crap. We gotta take this piece off. So one of the issues I noticed is that when the paint see, like, when the paint really adheres, it kind of gets stuck, and you gotta either you pry this mesh screen out, or you leave it in there. But I'm gonna take it out because I feel like I should take it out. So we're just gonna take the paint. We're gonna dip into the container like this. I'm trying to wipe the paint off the side of the straw. I don't know if this is really the best way to do this, Like, if there's a better way to do this, I should definitely research it because, like, eyedroppers, you end up wasting a ton of paint in the eyedropper. I think the best way to do this, to be honest, is to use the metal dish. So, I did buy these metal dishes here. So you can pour the paint into it, into the metal dish like this. And then I have a method of, now I'm not putting a lot of paint in here because I don't want to, you know, I don't know really how to use this yet. I probably should put more paint in here actually, but I want to make sure I have another bottle of paint. Okay, so that's not really pouring very much. So what do we do about that? Well, airbrush paint thinner for enamel probably would be the best stuff to use, right? So we're going to use it. So we're going to just pour some airbrush paint thinner in here. We got a red bottle here. I once drank it on stream. I didn't drink it for real. I pretended to drink it. I was dressed up as Petey the Robot. So now we can use a plastic stick. I think a brass rod or a plastic stick would be the best thing. The best thing for stirring this. Now, somewhere I have some metal spoons laying around that are literally made for this. But it doesn't really matter what we use. We're going to use this. Here we are. I got a brass stick right here that's covered in red paint. So we're going to use that. There's some clumps in there. I don't know why there's any clumping in here, but we're going to let it be. Probably about as good as we're going to get. So now, where's the top? Okay, so this kind of fell apart on us, but luckily it's pretty straightforward. Now, sometimes I wipe the top of the bottle, and by sometimes I mean I've only done this like twice. So obviously I don't really have a lot of experience with this yet, but I figure like we should probably take some of the paint off the top here so that it doesn't seize up on us later on. You know, we don't want that paint causing, you know, we don't want the top adhering to the paint is my point, right? So I'm just gonna give it a quick wiperino. Probably not enough, but I think it'll help. Now we just gotta reassemble this, and it fell apart on me, so we're gonna kind of YOLO it and figure it out. And I think I know how this goes together. So far, so good. Now, where's that washer? There was a washer on my desk somewhere. Oh, shit. I think this is the washer. I don't think there's any other parts here, but if there are any parts, we'll find out the hard way later, right? Okay, so this is like friction clipped into place. I don't think there's any other pieces that go with this. We could always take apart the other marker to figure that out. Didn't we take apart a marker already and have some pieces fall over the place? Where's the other marker? I mean, yeah, it's probably everything in there. Mm, I think we got everything. So we're gonna put this in an airbrush gun and we're gonna see what it does. This can go really south really fast, by the way, guys. So you're in for a show. Okay, so I'm sorry. We gotta do one more thing. We're gonna just press on. Oh wait, we can't do that yet. We gotta mix it. So we're gonna mix it. So you got like not a lot of paint. It's only filled up to here right now. But my theory is that if this is a success, if I figure out how to make this work, I can really economically paint Gundams. So right now we're using a pretty runny mix. A little bit too runny, I would say. So if I spray some paint now and some of the paint thinner falls out, I can always thicken it up later. I'm going to double check, see if I'm missing any paint bottles. Like, if I have like a second bottle of this paint, I'll go for broke. I'll dump the entire bottle in here. So now, here's the fun part. So this is the paint gun, the airbrush unit. So we have a mounting point here, but here's the caveat. I don't have the box right now. I mean, it's somewhere here. I think I've seen it a few weeks ago. So we're just going to YOLO it. I actually stuck a piece of plastic in here and punched a hole in that plastic before putting it in here. And the reason I did that was because the felt tip doesn't really protrude enough. This is one of the reasons why I want to find the alternative felt tips that I have laying around. Because I may, if this thing was protruding out just a little more, we'd be good. Another option is for me to take the felt tip out of a dried Gundam marker. That might be a viable option, actually. And you could take the felt tip straight out the front. So I might try it with a chisel tip after I'm sure that I have a depleted marker. I don't want to, ruin a good marker. But it seems if I do this, we should be good. So now, I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it over here to the side where I have, like, stuff that I'm not worried about painting. I'm going to just YOLO it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that worked instantly. So, like I said, it's a very runny mix. So, I'm not surprised it came out like this. If there was primer on here, it might work pretty good. Also, when it does dry, it is going to leave a nice enamel finish on there. But the paint thin is going to have to evaporate first. And because it's a very runny mix, it's going to give us other problems. Now, oh, there we go. Now we're getting a nice even spray. I'm spraying a piece of Tupperware right now. Oh, now it's dripping. So it's a little tricky to operate efficiently. But we'll explore it further, and when I find a trick, maybe I have to buy different markers, maybe I have to use a different method, I'm not really sure. But, we'll keep rolling with it, we'll figure something out, I'm sure. And like I said, maybe if I try different marker tips or nozzles, I'll get better performance out of it. So, little trial and error won't kill us. The biggest risk is that I'm using enamel paint in something that I don't know if it's designed to use enamel paint, but as long as I can clean the nozzle and there's like no interference elsewhere, we're good. The other caveat is we're about to find out if we run into this problem. Okay, we didn't have that problem this time, but like I said, when I mounted this thing without the plastic in there, I tried putting tissue in there. I did different tricks. I put saran wrap in there. But on a couple of the tests I did, I think even without the saran wrap installed, it created a pressure buildup. So when I put this down, I pressed down, it went like it made a popping sound, and it shot out like it filled up this tray. Like I literally it ejected like a ton of paint. I pressed down on this, and it ejected a ton of paint, like a noticeable level, like filled up this bowl, and it didn't get everywhere, but it got around my desk a few places. It got around a little bit, but it wasn't like that bad, but still a little tricky. Now, to show you what a piece that I actually painted looked like, a Gundam piece, I'll show you one last thing. So this is from the gun tank. I stripped it, repainted it, stripped it, and repainted it. The coating came out okay in some areas, but overall it just came out very rough. And you're going to see that up close. So it is a flat paint. It's supposed to be flat, but you can see like that right there doesn't really look right. And that's due to the mixture of paint thinner and just, nature of how unevenly painted it was. And you can see how the liquid paint kind of ran with the paint thinner in these corners. And so that's why it looks darker in the corners, because like it looks darker in real life. I'll try to match the exposure here. Yeah, that's about, yeah, there you go. So you can see how like that's not really quite right. In fact, it looks even darker than that, but it's about right. Like everything is brighter in real life, but the dark area is darker. So it's like, if I play with the exposure settings, I'm sure I can get it to perfect. And there was probably also some rust paint in here already. So the paint thinner from the airbrush paint thinner probably washed off some of the red to reveal the underlying rust colors. So that isn't entirely surprising. Here's what the paint looks like from the bottom. Actually, I don't think I painted the bottom. Not that much at least. But you can see some rust paint here. So now lastly, here's what it looks like when I use the Gundam red marker. No, actually not red marker. I used a brush on this, and this one here came out pretty good, like better than the original plastic, but you can see brush strokes on here, so I'm not entirely satisfied. I know how to get it right, but part of why I know how to get it right is because even when I got it right, I kept experimenting. So it's like I have an idea now what works, what doesn't work. But, like sometimes when you haven't done it in a while, you have to relearn a trick or two. But, we're making progress. We're learning stuff. And I'll be able to, basically I like doing it to cheap models. I like taking the crappier, the lower end Gundam models and painting those, because I feel like you get more latitude to experiment on something when it's not that big of a deal. Whereas like with a hyper grade model, whatever you call it, like the what is that? You got a master grade model. You don't really want to paint it unless you're sure about it, because especially when you have a lot of moving and transformable parts. But anyway, with that being said, I had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time too. And I want to thank you guys for sitting with me while, we read picture letters from the Commander-in-Chief. And, next week we'll do something with space. If we get some clear weather, we'll capture more astro imagery. We're going to raid Aris. I'm going to drop you guys the link to his channel right now. But, yeah, I've been doing some space photography in a space engine while the weather's been bad. And, I checked out the planet Mercury, but the imagery we got from Mercury ain't that good. But some areas in the solar system, we have good data, and it's cool. You could go to the surface of a real planet and, like, take a picture of a canyon or some bullshit like that. So, I've been messing around a little bit. But anyway, I want to thank DJ Play Nice for sticking with us so darn late, man. Get to bed. What kind of degenerate stays up so late? I'm looking at myself. But jokes aside, also want to thank Lewd Gamer, Overrated Pro, Game Gear Goddess, the Peter Venkman fan site, Real Wade Nation Gaming Cap. I gotta be, oh shit, my alarm didn't ring. My alarm was supposed to remind me to call Wade at 2:45 a.m. I mean, not call, check his message. And if there was anyone else I'm missing other than Lady Mist, I also want to thank Lady Mist, who is fast asleep, waking up in 10 minutes. Oh no, actually she's not waking up in 10 minutes. Different time zone. Good thing, man. That'd be bad for her. If she had to wake up in like 5 minutes and she showed up at the beginning of the show, that's like 2 hours sleep. the show, thumbs up the show, and reload when it ends to leave a comment. Thank you. It only takes a moment and it helps a lot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it helps a lot. And, comments are engagement. And, speaking of engagement, got one more thing to show you guys. I had a great time on Twitter recently talking to retarded people. This is not to make fun of people with disabilities. If anything, people with disabilities are brought down by people like this because despite not having developmental disability, they proudly show their stupidity. So there's this jerk off. Well, not a jerk. I'm sorry. That's not nice. I apologize. If this guy's watching, I do apologize. I shouldn't call him a jerk off. He hasn't been mean to me. I think he's wrong, but he hasn't been mean to me. So no, he's not a jerk off. I mean, it's not nice to say that, and it's not really name calling, as they say, is the last refuge of a non-civilized man. Something like that. Anyway, I digress. So this is the comment I'm making fun of. So basically, they were questioning the moon landing, right? The guy's like, oh, gifted from Nixon, the same Nixon who spoke on the telephone with men on the moon? Confirmed how? How do you know? Confirmed against what? If we don't have any genuine moon rocks, yeah, so they believe that the moon rocks that were given by Neil Armstrong to some Europeans was fake. I don't know the details on that, to be absolutely honest. Maybe they were. Maybe there was some fake ones in the mix. I don't know. But whatever the story is, there are definitely real moon rocks. Have I verified? No. I watched a Smarter Everyday episode where they went to the facility where they locked them up, and, I mean, they looked unique. They looked like something not of this world, at least not recently, as the moon, is ejected from the Earth, quite possibly, from a collision. But I digress. That's a whole other topic, and also something I'm not versed in. But what I am versed in is that it is entirely possible for the president to speak on the telephone with astronauts on the moon. It's the same method you would have used in the episode of Black Sheep Squadron. Yeah, I'm referencing an episode of Black Sheep Squadron. When, on Pappy's birthday, his friends made arrangements to put him on the phone with his mother. This guy was on a Pacific island, like Tarawa or the Bougainville Islands or some shit like that. He was in the middle of the Pacific. And they had different ways of using radio, like shortwave radio transmitters. They had a big fat submarine transmitter at Pearl Harbor that literally was the size of a canyon, like size of a valley. Like basically there was a mountain at a copper net at the bottom of the mountain. They had wires running from the top of the mountain to the bottom. And this was like, because you need big wires or big antennas in order to support ultra low frequency communications for like that type of thing for the submarine squadrons or submarine, whatever they're called. But yeah, Black Sheep Squadron. That was an episode of Black Sheep Squadron. I don't know how they did it, but we can ask Reggie, see if he knows. Hey, Reggie, there was an episode of Black Sheep Squadron when Pappy, a.k.a. Greg Boington, it was his birthday, and for his birthday, his friends made arrangements to put him on the phone with his mother back in the continental United States while they were situated on a Pacific island in the middle of World War II. My theory is that they either used shortwave radio to get in touch with Pearl Harbor and then had that radio signal relayed to the mainland, or they used shortwave radio to Pearl Harbor and then linked up with, they patched the radio signal to a telephone line and then to his mother. I don't know if there's any information on how they did it, how they supposedly did an episode, or if this was done during World War II and how. But basically, I used it to make a comparison to how Nixon spoke to astronauts on the moon, because, of course, a lot of times people who question the moon landings in the Apollo program, they point to this as like an example of how ridiculous it is to be on the telephone with people on the moon. Like, as if, there's no such thing as, connecting a phone line to a radio and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, you got any info on that, man? You got any deets? Deets is short for details. It's true. All right. So, anyway, let's read the comment now. So he goes, I go, yeah, it's not like they had the ability to patch telephone lines into radio since World War II. Totally impossible in the 1970s. The big dish at Parkes Observatory is cool. Parkes Observatory is this big fat radio facility in Australia, and this was part of the NASA Deep Space Network during the Apollo program. This is literally, if our side of the planet wasn't facing the moon, or wherever the spacecraft was, then Parkes was one of the facilities. And what you'll notice is that Parkes has an interesting design. I'm trying to figure out if it's equatorial. So I've seen radio dishes that are equatorial mounted. This doesn't quite look like an I don't know. This might be equatorial. Is Parkes radio antenna dish equatorial mounted? Yes, it is equatorial mounted. So the thing is that you wouldn't have an equatorial mount on something if it wasn't designed to, like, basically, point at something in space while the Earth is rotating. You wouldn't need that capability. And while that doesn't necessarily prove that people were on the moon, it could just prove that people orbited the Earth. At least that's a counter argument for the flat Earth. Is for those who don't believe in the moon landing, but they believe the Earth is round. Yeah, that could be a bit more of a, challenging nut to crack. But just wanted to share some, something there. So that's what I was referencing when I mentioned the big dish at Parkes. That's actually and then I made a joke. That's actually 1965's answer to 5G. That's how we got the global warming. It's cooked the oxygen off so that it can be displaced by carbon dioxide. I made up this, I kind of went down an unhinged conspiracy rant just for fun. So the guy responds to me, and this is a classic, okay? The moon hoaxes, this is actually the real thing I want to show you guys. A lot of people don't believe in the moon landing. They love pointing at this video. And Joe Rogan, the gullible, idiot he is, because he's pretty gullible, man. He's very gullible. Like, 1 minute he's talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's like, he gets it. Then he talks to some idiot, and he's showing something like this, and he's like, going, huh, that's interesting. Like, guy's got no critical thinking skill. I mean, he kind of is a critical thinker, right? It's the whole thing about his show. But is it critical thinking if you're only looking for the esoteric answers? I don't know. It's a little bit tough. Then again, he's also a radio guy, TV host, right? Whatever you call it, podcast. Sometimes they just say whatever because, they're making money, right? You just kind of go with the flow. So I don't know if he's actually a gullible idiot. Yeah, I mean, it's at least gullible. Anyway, that's another topic. We could pick apart or agree with Joe Rogan on another day. Do these look like guys who just traveled successfully to the moon and back, or ... So basically, the insinuation is that they look depressed. They look like they're lying. They look like, they know the truth, and that they're not happy to be at a press conference where they talk about being on the moon when they know they did not go to the moon. That's what's being insinuated with this image, and when people played a video of these guys at the press conference. So my response was no. They look like they just spent 21 days in medical isolation after arriving home from the moon. Because they literally did. Like, I swear. Like, not only did they spend 21 days in medical isolation, here's what they actually spent time in. They spent 21 days in a fucking RV. Like, so I suspect that this is what a bunch of guys look like when they spent 21 days inside an RV with, like, the same sausage party that they just spent inside a capsule, right? They spent time inside of this and the lunar module for like 21 days. So yeah, I think this makes sense. I'd be looking like this too, probably. I mean, I don't know. Also, when you have an angle to push, you're going to look for anything. So this kind of serves a purpose, especially if you're dealing with people who don't want to believe in the moon landing. So then the guy goes and he gives me another response. How can you still think the moon is a ball of rock that you can send Freemasons to? And so it's like, okay, I don't give a shit if they're Freemasons. But of course, they're trying to, claim that they're all Freemasons, they're in on something and all of this. So this is a cute one. It's, like, really cute. It shows, like, a lack of understanding. If anybody in the chat who doesn't understand why this is cute, it's okay. I know you guys are open-minded, and you probably would actually, do your own research if I pointed you in a direction to learn more. But it's just showing that light hitting a ball creates this shaded region. And same thing, like in a simulation, you'd get this shaded region depending on how close or how far away the light is. And so how could the moon be all evenly lit like this if typically a ball would do this? And it's really simple. It just comes down to the, people will sometimes call up the, what's that shit called? Inverse square law. But even more simple, the sun is a very bright light source and the moon's at a great distance. But more importantly, the difference between the light from, say, this part of the ball, like, okay, so if this is the moon, in fact, let's just say the light was hitting the moon from the side on the right. The distance over here versus the distance over here versus the distance to the sun is insignificant. Whereas a guy standing 20 feet away with a spotlight, that's what's going on here. There's like a guy with a spotlight or a flashlight at 5, 10, or 20 feet away. So with that type of light source, which is not very strong, and at that particular proximity, the difference between this part of the sphere and this part of the sphere is a greater percentage of that distance, right? You can say that, like, if this is, let's say this is like 6 inches here. So that's like 1/20 of the distance from the light source, you know, so there's a 1/20 of a difference from here to here. But if we're talking about from here to here, it's like a sub-fraction of a percent. So basically, the entire moon is getting pretty much the same amount of light. And there's actually an interesting way to simulate this. If you get one of those lighting boxes, so like they have a light box that simulates sunlight, and or Happy Light it's called. Hey, what's up, Ghost Pet? What's up, Ghost Pet Shop? We got Ghost Pet Shop in the channel. He also has a channel like Aris. We're gonna be rating Aris 218 soon. I know you're already there. But yeah, at Ghost Pet Shop on YouTube, he's got a channel too. But anyway, let's say we want to build a sad light. Seasonal anxiety disorder light. So the interesting thing is, the way this light works is, like, when you have light coming from the window, no matter what part of the room you're standing on, the light doesn't really get dimmer or brighter, right? The sunlight is going to be just as bright if you're standing near the window or away from the window, assuming that you're in direct line of sight of the window. So how you build a lighting box like this, there's a few tricks to it, but one of them is you take apart an LCD screen and you use the Fresnel lens on the inside. So a Fresnel lens is light box Fresnel lens. Yeah, we don't really have a good example right now, but basically you use one of these, something similar to this. They have ones that are super thin, made out of plastic. And what that does is it makes it so that now, even though the lighting source is like right next to you, and typically if you're standing like right near the wall, if you're typically standing right near the light source, it'll be brighter. If you move away from it, the light will fall off rapidly. So if you put a ball in front of that light box, that white light, it's going to have, like, you know, that shaded stuff. But if you have a Fresnel lens inside of that lighting box, it's sort of doing the whole zoom magic thing, or, you know, it's acting like a zoom lens for light. And that essentially makes it so that now you don't have that sudden fall off. It makes it so that all of the light is more even now. I'm not using the right terminology. Maybe we'll ask Reggie about it sometime, get the right terminology. But this would be a starting point. So if you ever, like, you know, want to explore whether or not men landed on the moon or not, and you get, you know, let's say you believe it or not, whatever it is, your choice, and you have trouble grappling with this particular picture here, I would suggest looking into those how those light boxes are built for seasonal anxiety disorder, because it's the same it's basically the same principle. Oh, that's a cute waifu on Aris' stream. You know, I think we're gonna tune into Aris' stream right now. But before we do, I'm gonna drop a link to Ghost Pet Shop, because appreciate you dropping by. He has a Ghost Pet Shop, and one of these days I want to buy a pet at his Ghost Pet Shop. Jokes aside, though, it's cool. I see you play Dead Space. I'll have to watch that, because I could use some strategy hints on that game before I get into it myself. I've owned the game for years. We're going to raid Aris right now. Well, at least I'm going to raid Aris right now. So for anybody watching on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, ideas, or concerns, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And for now, we shall hereby end transmission.